Yeah. He's back, folks. He's back from the road. The road dog. That's right.
And his homeboys.
Daddy is homeboys and girls, of course. But yeah, good to see you guys. How's everybody's week been this week? Are you happy it's Friday? I can't tell what day it is, but I'm sure you are. If you have like a regular 9 to 5 job, you're probably super stoked it's Friday because you don't have to go in for a few days. You might recognize this guy. Oh, it's me. It's the same guy. It's literally the same guy you were just talking to, and he's here to host Unleashed number 22. What do you guys think of this badass lowrider that Facebook AI came up with today? I really was late preparing for the show today. I was just procrastinating, and probably around 3:30, I was like, damn, I better take a picture and try to make a thumbnail today. And I guess that's where AI could come in handy as far as like a backdrop or something, a quick background. And I decided to go for lowrider because it kind of reflects the culture of Oceanside here, especially by the beach. This is like the place where a lot of North County car club, folks like to take their cars, and I like it. I mean, honestly, I think it's awesome. I think their cars are badass, and they don't bother me. Like sometimes they'll be thumping their stereo a little bit, but that sound doesn't bother me so much. It's only the like younger dudes that come down here that have like no muffler on their car, and they want to do burnouts and stuff here on the Strand. And this is like we got kids and families walking around here. You know what I mean? So that's pretty lame to come down here and behave like that. But if you have a awesome lowrider car, that's where you want to come show it off because it's like a 5 mile an hour zone here on the Strand. So like all summer long, you'll see these super sick lowriders just like kind of cruising. If you've watched the show Animal Kingdom, have you guys ever checked out the show Animal Kingdom? Pretty cool show. And they were filming that here for years while I was here. I would even before I lived here with Susan, when I was just kind of dating her in the beginning, 2020, around that time, I recall just going to her house and I would see them filming the show at like the liquor store in the corner or the seedy motel that's on Pacific and Surf Rider. You would see them like on the pier, riding skateboards off the pier or dirt bikes or whatever stunts they were doing. So it was kind of cool while it was going on. And of course, the show's come to an end, but there's people I hear from when they see Oceanside on my Facebook profile or something, they bring up that show. And yes, I have, I've watched the show. Well, I lost my hearing there. No, we're good. We're good. Anywho, let me come in and say hi to you people because I see that already you're in the chat room. So let me get my audio just a little better than it is right now. 222. Hey, 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 hey. All right. I'm getting rid of these and I'm going to go this way instead because I'm not even talking with anybody else tonight. So it really doesn't, I don't even need those. I'm just showing off my technology. Okay. What do we got? Skylar B. Good evening, everyone. Well, Skylar, stoked you're here. You're first on deck tonight, buddy. And, of course, my homie, Josh Krager. Good evening, everyone. Hope you all had an amazing rest of your evening, as well as a weekend. As for me, I'm making drumsticks. Are you making drumsticks as in chicken, like for dinner? Drumsticks? Or you are like hand carving wooden drumsticks for drummers to play drums with? Which is it? How are you doing today, Eric? I'm doing good. I've been kind of a little lazy this week. I mean, I've been doing the podcasting stuff like that. If you noticed, this week we did a Fright Bite, Dahlia Dark and myself, and Dr. Von Brainscan. He's up to his old antics with his experimentations and strange programs he's got going on at the secret government underground base. And Cal Cracula was showing off something he found at the beach, which I happen to have here because he left it at the studio. But it's a mermidget. Did you guys happen to catch the Fright Bite this week? If you didn't, please go watch it because I like when there's views on it. It doesn't do nearly as well as the other stuff I do, but I think it will someday. It'll find its audience and people that are like actually looking for fun, break from reality and want to laugh for a little bit. That's what the show's there for. And this show too. We laugh here too. Twice a week I like to give you the laughter. You know how we do this. But how cool is this guy? Hello, all you people out there in TV land. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, this is pretty dope. Turns out this is a mermidget experiment, and this one escaped from the toilet at the lab. It had swam out the toilet and ended up in the Oceanside Harbor after it died. I'm not sure how it passed away or whatever, but it was found on the beach, and Count Cracula had a feeling that Dr. Von Brainscan had something to do with this, that it just seemed too unnatural to be something you'd find in nature. And so he had called up Dr. Von Brainscan, and sure enough, it was a program that was going on for like some years now. And Dr. Von Brainscan says that the program's coming to an end, so they might have actually grown a full-size merman. And you're going to find out on Tuesday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's when the Fright Bite happens every week with my super sexy co-host, Dahlia Dark, who we are so stoked that she is a part of the show.
Sexy times.
That's right. It's always sexy times when Dahlia's on deck. Come on. What's going on? You guys giving me some some funds for the weed fund, son? See you on the 30th. Who we got here? This is Tim Lloyd. Hey, buddy. Cool. Tim's coming out to the next Pearcy show on the 30th. That's super dope. So you probably see him in the next road vlog. You might have seen some other friends from the show. Did you guys watch the latest Stephen Pearcy road vlog that featured Joel Hoekstra, the guitar, I call him the wizard, on there? But thank you, Tim, by the way. But Jim Martinez, who, you know, Jim's given so much cool stuff to the show, but he's the guy who gave me the butt bongos. And you can see him in the video for a minute. He's giving me all kinds of cool stuff, drones and t-shirts, and oh man, he's a huge supporter of the Unleashed channel and myself. And anytime he's able to make it to a gig, I always make sure he's like gets back to say hey and all that good stuff. Yeah, that's a little blurry on the big thing, but I believe it's pronounced Tulare. I've been screwing all this stuff up. Like initially when I did the thumbnail for the last road vlog, I thought it was Tulare. Like I said it like I am from Jersey originally, but I said it like a guy from New Jersey. I'm like, yeah, we're playing Tulare. Yeah, Tulare. You know, but it wasn't. Like people are starting to hit me in the comments. They're like spelling it out with the dashes between each letter. Like, dude, it's T-U-L-A. And so I was like, oh, okay. And then somebody else did some kind of phonetic thing where like they go, it's Tulare. Like, which I got what he was doing. He was saying that in the intro of the show when I go, yeah, we're headed out to Tulare. I said it wrong. It's Tulare. Now, I don't think anyone noticed that because this town is near Visalia, which is a bigger town up north. But it's not a super well-known town. You know, I don't think most of the people that watched it realized that I screwed that up. I was able to change the thumbnail out and change the Tulare. I'm assuming it's Tulare, that's what that guy was saying. If anyone's here knows the area, they can weigh in on that. Woo! But yeah, this was super cool. Joel Hoekstra, like everybody's stunned that he's come into Slum It with the Stephen Pearcy band. You know, it's interesting the reactions, you know, that you get sometimes. You know, you go, hey, that's not RATT, or you'll get Joel's too good for you guys. You know, oh, everybody just wants to I don't know, not complain. Most people are super stoked. They're like, whoa. I'd say the general reaction was, holy crap, that guy's playing with you dudes. And yeah, he was very cool about it. As you know, he and Blas Elias are both world class musicians that perform in the Trans Siberian Orchestra, which is a annual event that's probably going to go on for eternity. Really, it's just become such a part of the holidays, and they have a West Coast and an East Coast version of the band. Blas Elias is on the West Coast version, and Joel Hoekstra lives in New York. He plays on the East Coast version. So those guys live like similar lives on two different coasts. So they, of course, have a lot in common with the gig itself, which is such an amazing gig to obtain. I mean, you have to be like the top of the heap, if you will, as far as drummers, guitarists, singers, all that. They only pick the cream of the crop, and it's a life-changing opportunity when you get it. And it's a serious thing. I mean, it's kind of like a Kiss concert from like the late 1970s, the way they put this Christmas thing on, if you're not familiar with it. So it's so rare that Blas and Joel, these guys get to like perform with pyrotechnics and, the risers that come up. And I mean, it's all kinds of cool stuff. He was telling me a little bit about it as far as being a guitar player. I've gotten to hear Blas, of course, talk about the gig the last couple of years. It was interesting to hear about it from another, guitarist standpoint. But he's a super cool dude. Like, he's very friendly and outgoing and talkative. And, I found out a lot about him. He did ask about coming on the show. So I think we got to have him on, right? Within the next, week or two, one of these Friday nights, he's able to cruise on. He already said he'd do it. So we can have Joel Hoekstra on here and have a total guitar nerd night and pick his brain, ask him all those crazy questions you always wanted to ask him about Whitesnake, about Night Ranger, playing for Cher, doing the Trans Siberian Orchestra. The guy's in his 16th year of doing that. So, whoo. What do we got here? Spicoli, it's for the weed, the weed fund, dude. I love it. I love it. I love it. Yeah. Let me get back to the live here. If Spicoli comes in, I gotta tell him I know that dude.
Hey, bud, let's party.
What are you people? On dope?
We're totally on dope. All of us, hopefully. No, I don't know. Some of us. All of us.
Yeah, I got my beer goggles on now.
Maybe you got your beer goggles on now. And maybe it's
Let's have us a champagne jam.
time for a champagne jam. I mean, it's Friday. You ain't got nowhere to be. You ain't got nowhere to go, right? Crack one open for the Unleashed Friday night hang, y'all. All right, let me get back in and see what you guys got going on here. RDT's letting everybody know that please like and hype this video. And I'm also getting word that somebody needs to go bye-bye. So let's do that. Yep. Taken care of. I don't even know what they said, but I'll just take the group's word for it. I don't have my chat room are the moderators. So if they give me a shout out that somebody's got to go, they got to go. But what's cool about that sort of thing, the trolls and that, it lets me know that I'm doing it right. You know what I'm saying? It's like when you're on target and you're doing it all right and you're kicking ass, that's when these guys come out and try to take you down a notch. But they wouldn't even bother if I was like down in the depths. They see me up there and they're just trying to take shots, but it's too late, man. I'm on a trajectory that's just, you can't stop it. You cannot stop it. Skylar's got the party hats on. It's Bacoli's going puff, 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 give. Stony Jackson, what is happening? Appreciate you showing the pedal boards in the last vlog. I geek out over that stuff. Well, that's cool. I mean, I got my pedal board right here, which is pretty compact for traveling. This is man, they raised the price on these mono pedal boards that you can get at Guitar Center and Musician's Friend. I swear when I bought this, it was like I don't know, $150 or like $200. This is, I believe, this might be the medium one or the small one. They have like a small, medium, and a large. But now they're like $300, $400. It was trippy. But I don't have too much on here, as you can see. But I'll give some kudos to Shure. This is the wireless unit that we use, the GX wireless. Matt uses this. Joel picked one up. I use one also. They're fantastic. The newer ones. I had the older one. It wasn't quite as good. I had a few issues, but this new one is super good. And if for some reason you're on the same channel as somebody else, or there's going to be some kind of interference, this thing will start flashing, and you just literally just push like one button, you can move up, and you're good. But it's an awesome tuner. Like if you watch the last road vlog, I was referring to it as a tuner because it is. It's like the main tuner, and I've always used Boss tuners. I love Boss tuners, but this one's actually easier to see as a professional in different situations. It's like, the note A B C D E F G is like super big on here compared to looking at a little Boss thing. It's just easier for me to see. This is the Tone X, which most guitar players are pretty familiar now with the Tone X pedal. As far as like what profile am I using in my Tone X pedal, it's actually my Splawn amp. As you guys know, for over 20 years I've been playing Splawn amplification, and I've purchased quick rods from them over the years, and a Pro Mod I think at one point. But anyways, I think it was like 2 years ago I got one of his newer quick rod 100s. Awesome amp. I play those amps live when I'm with the project, and I play them live with Pump 5 because those guys, take off on the road and can take equipment when they travel. Like Pearcy band, we're flying out, so I don't have that luxury. However, Matt and I took my amp up to his studio and took the best microphones and made a sick, profile for my amp. So really, it put my Splawn amp into here so I could have the same sound every night. And if I need to make some little adjustments, I can, tweak the gain, the bass, the mids, the treble, obviously the volume controls here. If I got to go in and fix something, I've gotten good with that. It's just kind of multi-button function thing going on. But it's fairly, easy to use. And these are so like inexpensive. I think you can get a Tone X for like $400. I'll put links in the show tonight for people watching it later if they want to click on it and get it. I think I get something out of that too. But moving on, this has chorus in it. Like when we play Back for More, I'll like move to this one because it has less of a noise gate and it's got less gain, and I have a chorus. This has built-in effects. It has like delay, chorus I got going. So just for that intro is its own kind of thing, and I kind of want a specific delay. So I did make a patch for that. And this is a boost if I wanted. This is a boost. So those are the three I kind of chose. These are new little additions. These little Nux, NUX is the company. They make effects, and they make these cool little foot things you can like stick on here. So any kind of push button that's like this, like the Tone X or the Shure, they fit perfectly on those. I like it because I just tried it at the last show, and it was exactly what I needed. Like for me, when I'm in the heat of the moment and I gotta like execute a move of hitting a pedal, those little buttons were too small for me. Like I got a big Doc Martin on, and I don't want to crush the pedal, and I feel like I either wasn't hitting it enough, or I was going too hard in and it would hit two buttons at the same time. And I feel like this solved that problem. Like it's only $5 to get a bag of these from Guitar Center or Musician's Friend. It's only $5 for the bag, and these go on any of your pedals like that. Obviously I put it on my Shure pedal. I put it on this EP booster. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this pedal, but it's pretty awesome. I just started using it again. It's become like a leave it on pedal for me. I feel like it's getting me closer to what Robin sounded like back in RATT days, when that thing's like just left on. It kind of sounds like Robin to me. This is an extra like chorus, but again, I like having a big target to hit something, and the Boss one's big. You could use pedals with the Tone X. Like if you're coming out of the out and you got these like delays or choruses or something, you just put them out after, and then you'd have one cable come out of here, go into the return of the effects loop of the amp is basically how I'm running it. So I still come out of the amp. If you're in the front row of a Pearcy show, you're like, yeah, they're coming out of the amps for sure. They blew my head off. We do come out of the amps. I don't go direct to the house or anything. But it's a real simple setup. Like, this is in my suitcase. I show up, I plop this down, one cable into the house amp that they have for me, which is typically a Marshall because those are easy to get. And boom, I'm ready to go. And it's just easy peasy, man. It's just become like the easiest traveling and having a consistent sound that I've had in the 25 years of this band. Finally, just like a pretty easy setup. On the back, this is kind of a recent addition, the pedal power. I could give power to like 4 more pedals. It's an 8 one. They do sell a 4 one, which would have sufficed. I could have saved a couple bucks and got a smaller one, but it's good that it's such a small little supply that fits on the bottom of your stuff. So, I mean, I'm looking pretty tight, right? I'm a very unorganized guy, and like finally I'm kind of like organized for once, and I look kind of professional, which is great. So that's pedal talk for you, Stoney. Anywho, moving along. Let's see, Jay Krager. I have 16 drumming sticks to carve out. Each one takes about 2 to 3 hours to make to help the guys out, brother. Well, that's cool, man. You're like whittling away like one of Santa's elves up in Colorado there. Very cool. RDT, everyone, please like and hype the video. Yeah, the hype thing, I think you're allowed to hype videos a certain amount per week or something. They probably give you enough hype points to hype about 2 or 3 videos a week. And if you feel that one of my videos is worth hyping, please do. If you think my video sucked, save your hype for somebody you think's better. I mean, shoot. But I hope you guys are enjoying the channel. I feel like it's finally gonna be picking up after all this time. I've been kind of faking it for like the last 7 months because I was kind of out of work, you know. So I was kind of regurgitating some older road stuff on there, vlogs, and just doing the Friday night and the Fright Bite. But now I'm going to take you guys backstage to all these shows we're doing. And the next one's going to be super dope. It's with like Sebastian Bach, Great White, and White Lion. How cool is that? I don't think Pearcy bands, I don't recall ever playing a show with White Lion as like being on the same stage or whatever. They might have played at one of the same festivals we did or something, but this will be the first time that, you know, this lineup of bands has played on the same night. So that's towards the end of this month. There's like 3 Pearcy shows coming up. So you're going to get 3 vlogs that are just going to keep getting better and better. And I just thank you guys. I thank you for coming back, and it's so awesome to see the channel start to grow. I feel like every time I post one of those videos, like a couple more hundred of you guys, you know, give me a sub, and I appreciate it, man, from the bottom of my heart. I really do, because some exciting stuff is going to be happening this year. Brand new Stephen Pearcy record. The songs are so cool that we're so close to being finished. You know what I mean? I'm like fixing up a couple solos on a couple things. Steven's like got, I think, one or two songs left to sing on, but it's finally all finishing up. Like, I think our plan is the first week in June to go in and take a week just to finish it. And then he was talking about getting it out in August. So that's super dope as well. Psychedelic River Chicken. What's going on? What's up from Savannah, y'all? Great to see the crew together for another Friday live hang. Yeah. You know, it's funny. Yeah, Psychedelic River Chicken. We were talking about at some point in the future, we want to do like a team up where Gary and Christy from Sin Crazy, who are also ghost hunters, and Count Cracula and Dahlia from the Fright Bite, all meeting out in Savannah with Psychedelic River Chicken and looking for ghosts in some haunted places for like I don't know, maybe 100th episode or a 50th episode or something, for maybe the 50th episode for the Fright Bite. If we're still going strong and we're going in the right direction and Dahlia's still showing up, maybe we should do something really awesome, like and different like that. But in the meantime, I'll tell you this little behind the scenes. Dahlia Dark is coming with her family to my place tomorrow, and we're doing a whole bunch of filming for the Fright Bite. That's going to be totally amazing. We're pretty much recreating a creature from the Black Lagoon tomorrow, and what a better place to do it than here at the beach. We have our own lagoon here as well, but I mean, we're talking costumes, special effects. Tuesday night's Fright Bite is going to be super sick. So make sure you guys are here for that. It's going to be at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, and you will not be disappointed. Okay, moving along. Who else we got here tonight? A lot of people are here. Let me go back because I don't want to miss anything, and I'm already missing a bunch of stuff. Lee Ming, how are you, good sir? Lee Ming Incorporated. I have funny story. Oh, well, lay it on us, sir. We can never have enough funny stories, and I will be on the lookout in the chat room for your funny story, Lee Ming. T-Cuz, bro. Hello, all. Better late than never. Eric, I've been watching the Wally World video. Raise some cane. Yeah. Have you guys ever seen, some will say it's like the worst video in the world or the worst band in the world. It's Raise Some Cane. It's from Wally World, and it's become like a super viral video. And the truth is, Wally Passett is a total North County friend of ours going back to the 80s. And he's from the generation like before mine. If you know anything about my life or living here in San Diego, the first band I was in, local band, was called Voodoo, and the singer was Andy Milner, who was the son of the great actor Martin Milner from One Adam 12, the One Adam 12 show. He also played RoboCop's dad on RoboCop and did fishing shows. I mean, Martin Milner was pretty big actor in the 60s and beyond. He was also in the Disney Swiss Family Robinson. I don't know, he has all kinds of credits, but Andy was Wally's age. Those guys were like around the same age and had played in bands together. So I knew Wally going back. I was like a young teenager when I first met Wally. I mean, that was like close to 40 years ago. You know what I mean? And it's just so trippy that like I'll be going through YouTube or whatever, Instagram, like you guys, and come across that video for Raise Some Cane. You guys got to look that up tonight. It's hilarious, but it's so Wally. And there's other videos, viral videos that he's in too, where he's like just been throwing a block party on the street with like smoke machines, and he's got his beer belly hanging out, and he's just smoking a cigarette while he's doing his thing. And it's so endearing and cute and hilarious and stuff. And that's so Wally. But yeah, I mean, he's like, I just saw the guy, like, it was Christine, it was Andy's wife's birthday, not like a month ago or something, and we were at the Legion in Encinitas there, and Wally showed up, but Wally's like way older now than he was when that Raise Some Cane video. I mean, I don't know when they made that. I mean, I'm gonna guess like the late 90s maybe. So that video's like probably 25 years old. It's trippy how these old artifacts kind of come back into the mainstream and take off like that. I mean, if I looked, I probably have videos that would go viral that are just so goofy, musician wise, like things that have happened on stage. Probably the worst thing I can remember back then from my time locally, we had a guy named Vince that played in the band originally, and he was one of those guys that had like super long hair that pretty much went down in the back of his calf, like just ridiculous hair that just, it was super straight and just went all the way down to his calves. And he would flip his hair all the time. He would flip it. And we were playing at the Bacchanal, which doesn't exist anymore, but anyways, he was like, Vip, and he flipped his hair, and it literally wrapped around my guitar like 40 times on the headstock. And I was like, oh my God. Like all of a sudden he was like, oh. And I was like, ah, shit. And I get over here. And I remember I like yanked him off the stage by his hair by my guitar. I was like, Rrr! And we did have a tech, believe it or not. back then, and the tech was like trying to like undo the hair. It was like such a Spinal Tap moment. And when he got close to getting all the hairs out, he was still getting the last ones. I'm like, frog! I just ripped it out of his head. There was like all his hair hanging off my thing. Anyway, I do think there's a video of that somewhere, and I have a feeling that would go under like the world's greatest band blunders of all time videos somewhere. I should dig it up. Whew. Okay. What's Spicoli got to say here? You should have Pearcy on and talk about the new album, dude. Yeah, you know, I've never had Pearcy on. I never had him on the Chris Aiken Presents. I never had him on my show. Yeah, I don't know. I was just trying to like pretty much do the channel on my own. But at this point, I think we should have him on at some point. I'll say this though. Steven has been like super cool with the road videos. Like my favorite thing with him is to catch him when he's dressed up and like ready for the show and having fun. I'm gonna post fellow rodents. Stephen Pearcy's RATT is heading to yeah, we'll watch some of this, but I wanted to like try to find where it is that I think it was like right before. Oh yeah, it's like right around this. Right around this time. Let me see here. What we got? Oh yeah, LA Cubs were awesome, by the way. Yeah!
Here, sit down. No,
Yeah,
sit,
I got it.
sit down and like eat like a fork, and I'm just gonna look at you like.
I thought it was funny that they really took care of us at this gig, the promoter Todd, and those are actually plastic silverware, but they looked like real gold, like it was made out of gold. And then Joel had these like, I was calling him Golden Hoof because he had these like cool sneakers on that were like gold and it kind of matched. And he had, I don't know. So Steven sat him down. They were going to do like a front.
Okay, here, hand me your fork and spoon.
I ended up using this for like the main. Yeah, like boom. That's the picture, right? That was
Nice.
Thumbnail.
Yeah.
He was thinking I was taking a picture. I'm like, I got it, bro. I'm filming it.
I'll make stills from that.
I'll make you something.
Sweet.
Right.
The coolest thing too, I have to say real quick, Steven's cat, Sir Charles, got let out around the time we were playing that show, and his family was freaking out about it. And I'm happy to report I got a text from Steven last night, like pretty late, that Sir Charles came home, which was like such a happy ending. You know, hey man, you know, I'm cat dad. I'm cat dad. I love all the cats. And I hate hearing about anything bad happen to a cat. And, you know, where Steven lives up there is very nature place. You know what I mean? And there's all kinds of probably predators and stuff out there. So it's amazing that this cat survived the whatever 4 or 5 days he was gone. But I think boy cats tend to do that. They're more likely to like travel far off than a female cat. But we all kind of lost hope on that one, and it's just one of those cool happy endings for a pet where the pet did come back, and I was so stoked on that. I think they're getting like a GPS thing for it. And
Just sign your name first, route and roll.
And it's fucking wingy dings.
But so like this is so Steven. Like I don't see him much before it's time to play, but when he shows up, he's in a great mood. Like especially lately, I just feel like this is just classic him. He's always just joking around.
What do you got?
I don't even know what he's saying right now.
All right. We love you, Gilligan's Island. We are missing.
We love you, Gilligan's Island. We are missing. Send help.
Uh-oh. Malfunction.
Malfunction junction. What's your malfunction?
I know.
Oh,
I vote for Joyce.
wardrobe
Function
malfunction.
junction, where's that? Right? That song?
Yeah.
What do they want on this fucker?
Oh yeah. Oh, I should play us a little
Malfunction
of us, right?
junction. What's your malfunction?
Let me it's
Oh,
hard to
oh.
like
I
move
vote
it
for
just a
Joyce.
Wardrobe
Function
malfunction.
junction, where's that? Right? That song?
Yeah.
What do they want on this fucker? I'm just gonna ride on it.
Give me something to ride on,
This
man.
guy.
Wow.
roll because that's what we do.
Rad and roll. That's what we do. Do you understand?
Sign here.
Oh, cool. I can get it out of here.
And hey,
this was the,
Todd.
Hey, Todd.
Hey, brother.
That's Todd, our
How
tour
are ya?
manager.
Good to see you again.
And
So what do you want
this is
else
Todd
on
that
this?
put on the
That's
show.
good to you, to the venue, to... All right. Oh, way cool.
Yeah. All right.
Way cool, Junior. That's Steven's. I would call it like a spaceship autograph. It kind of looks like a flying saucer. A little bit. If it looks like a messy flying saucer, you know you got a legitimate.
We get bugged all year long for donating stuff. So.
Yeah. Woo! Back at. Yeah. Joel. I'll go back to this video, but Joel he loves obviously the '80s. We're around the same age, Joel and I, but he obviously loves the '80s and '80s rock guitar, and he totally respects Warren and loves all the RATT stuff, and he. Obviously, just like Logan too, that everybody really loved Logan, and you will see Logan again when these guys are doing the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Logan will come back out with us in November, December, so you'll see our buddy Logan again. But Logan and Joel both really did their homework, learning those solos in a short amount of time. Like they really put their hearts and souls into doing that, and it's impressive. I mean, I feel like you have to have your brain's almost got to be wired a certain way to be the type of person that could ascertain all that and remember all those notes, figure it all out, have the talent to play it all. It's impressive. One interesting thing he told me is Joel's left-handed but plays guitar right-handed, and then he went on to say that all the guitar players in the Trans-Siberian Orchestra have that same thing. They're left-handers that play right-handed. I thought that was interesting. And that gig does require you to be able to play that really complex stuff. Maybe there's something to that in their brains, that just wired.
Okay, go ahead.
We had Joel signing his guitar too. This was his first.
That's right. Joel Hoekstra's first autograph as a stephenpearcy band member.
And part of my middle finger right there.
Nice.
I want to get to where Steven's dancing. I thought that was hilarious. I think that's coming up. Oh yeah, Phil Lewis. People, we all notice that Phil is now, he's gone. And I compared this in the comment section. People were talking about Phil's new look for LA Guns, and I compared it to Sean Connery. When Sean Connery was in the early James Bond movies in the 60s and stuff, he had his look for 20 or 30 years, but then the guy aged, right? His look started changing, but he was still awesome, you know what I mean? He never, Sean Connery never got a bunch of plastic surgery and did all the weird shit. He just went on to the next chapter, and he was a strong enough actor and personality. He was a handsome guy, and that's just a benefit that some men have. As they get older, they can still be cool looking, even as a silver fox or an older dude. And I feel like Phil's just doing that, and I think he looks great, man. And he's stylish. You know what I mean? He had his kind of a Clockwork Orange Droog outfit on, and his hair it looked natural and good, and I think it's super cool. I fully support the image he's throwing out at this time, and I think it suits him and it's comfortable. Johnny Martin, of course, super stylish guy back there. He and I are now friends. We're friends on social media and stuff. All these guys are super talented. Their whole band, super tight, LA Guns, and it's just real rock. I love it. And you could see on this video, I have some of their performances. There's a song called Like a Drug that's on when I show up to the venue and I pull back the curtain or whatever, and I'm behind Sean, who's a killer drummer, by the way. Sean's super solid as a drummer in LA Guns. Just watching him, I'm like, damn, that guy's, I could see why they've kept him in. And he's a road dog too. LA Guns plays a lot. They play a lot of shows, and these guys are like a well, oiled machine. And I kind of stuck my phone out behind Sean's head and caught some of that great song. If you're not familiar with the song Like a Drug, I guess it's off Natasha's Ghost or one of those albums. And Check out that song. It's super, super cool. It just sounded so good.
Yeah, man, totally Club Authority.
They had like a common area where all the bands had.
Wait, what? Hey, man.
But you're like, I've known Phil Lewis for like many, many years. Like, I'd say I first got to know him in 2005. We were on the Metal Blast tour. It was Wasp, LA Guns, and stephenpearcy. And it was a long like summer tour. It was kind of grueling, and we had a bunch of drama going on or whatever. But I just enjoyed myself so much at that show. Being a fan of Wasp, being a fan of LA Guns, I was truly like living the dream at that time. And I was the younger Erik, you know what I mean? I don't know how old I was. I was probably like 30 or it might obviously early 30s, and just times I'll never forget. So like whenever I get a chance to see Phil, I think I said that here. It was like 20 years ago. That's when that
20 years ago.
Wow, man. Hello. Hey. I got.
And filming his crotch for the next 5 seconds. I didn't realize I was filming his crotch. I didn't want to like have the phone in his face, so I kind of like I just had the phone kind of like pointing at Phil's crotch.
I know. I did a little bit different.
And Blossy's doing the whole, wait, I didn't recognize you. And then everybody was like talking about how Phil and Joel had never met, I guess, in person before. But obviously, like, Phil knows all the bands Joel's played in, Cher and Whitesnake, Night Ranger, but they just never had crossed paths. So they were just meeting, like, kind of for the first time. So.
How you doing? What that? Up nice for you.
Phil's like, yeah, we warmed him up nice for you. He did. In fact, since we're having fun with Phil right now, I'm going to have to throw this in.
What if I told you I'd take you to a place you'd never been and do something to you that's never been done?
Yeah, let's do it. All right, so let's get back into this for a second. Just try to get my earphones to
You're right.
There you go.
That's tight.
Sweet. Dance. Is that where you got that from Jay Giles?
What? Dance? No.
Dance.
He was saying dance, and I was just joking around. I'm like, is that where you got like the idea for dance? Was it off the Jay Giles the Jay Giles band? And I was of course teasing. I know that's not why they did it, but he was like seriously answering me for a second.
Got it from somebody else.
Oh,
Literally. Dance, right? Yeah. It was swipe.
Dancing with the Jacksons.
Dancing machine.
I'm a dancing machine.
Awesome. That's my moonwalk. And then put in somebody else's moonwalk.
So anyways, the band sounded pretty good, man. I have to say it. Heavy, right? We're sounding heavy. It's cool. It's nice to be like back in the mix. You know what I mean? We've also been taking a sound guy out with us, which I love. We're finally like getting to that point. We're like, hey, let's have a guy with us, that knows what he's doing. And man, that's like, it's been a really, I think when I first joined the band, we had a sound guy, but it's just something that we kind of forewent for, is that how you say it? For a long time. And we just kind of went with the house guy, and that could be, super hit or miss with that sort of thing. If he's not like a big RATT fan that knows all the songs and who's doing what, sometimes those kind of guys just kind of ballpark it, you know? They're like, oh, okay, I hear drums, I hear one guitar, I think I hear a bass, and I hear the singer. I'm done. And then they're just texting on their phone and they don't give a shit. You know, but when you have your own guy, he's like on it, you know what I mean? He knows how to make everybody sound awesome, knows who to pull up and when to do it and all that. So definitely everybody's going to be getting a better Pearcy band performance going on. Did I see another? Oh, Spicoli's just in a good mood tonight. Spicoli's, that's for the catnip fund, son. Yeah. You know my kitties love the catnip. Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. That is very, very kind of you, Spicoli. And is somebody talking about Pariah pickups in here? Because I think I saw a comment about it. Yes. Delhap, the Pariah humbucker in the LP studio. Tell us more, Erik. Yeah, I got the Pariah pickup put in there. And it's super cool. I put Pariahs in both of my Gibsons. I have, of course, my Les Paul. It's actually, I believe, a 92 Les Paul studio. It's a special Les Paul studio. They still make the studios, but they're just way different now. It is cool that the newer studios have the ebony fretboard, but most of them don't. Most Les Pauls, for some reason, they don't have the ebony fretboard, but those 92 ones do. And I feel like I could feel my guitar. It's nearby. I can sense it. I sense it. Ah! And knock over my whole studio here. God damn it. Look at this. Yeah, speak of the devil and it shall appear. Yeah, this is my guitar I got when I was like 19 years old. And I don't know. I did bring it out of ease because I was like, well, if I'm only going to bring one guitar, it's probably going to be a Les Paul because we have different tunings. And when you do the Floyd Rose thing, you almost have to have two to do it, you know, successfully. But there was more to the story, you know what I mean? I just feel like there's some parallels, you know, with my life and this guitar, you know what I mean? Just like what we've been through, you know, together. And you just look at how beat this thing is and all this shit, man. All the years, all the disappointments, all the heartaches, all the cracks. That's an NHRA sticker Steven stuck on there 25 years ago. Right? You think I care if I have to split your head open with this? Don't fuck with me. This thing weighs like 100 pounds. It's cool just to see it, right? Just how, look at that. Look at how cracked that is. I love it. It's just so beat. But I mean, believe it or not, like the fretboard's still in pretty decent shape. I mean, you see me playing it. I mean, it's pretty rad. But yeah, anyways, that's a Pariah pickup in there. And also on the I bought an SG. I don't know if you guys saw that. I bought an SG, and the pickup in it was just too old school, you know, rock and roll. I needed something that had a little more balls. So I had asked the Pariah guys about it. I actually have first let me yank Dal's comment down for a second so I could put the Pariah banner up for a second. Sean, if you guys are interested in those Pariah pickups, if you're like listening to the stephenpearcy stuff, like, holy crap, that sounded amazing, and you want your guitar to sound amazing, hit up Sean at pariahpickups.com and figure out which pickup's best for the music that you play. That's kind of what I did for him. And I'm trying to remember which ones I have in mind. I think one's like a Rancor, and I'm forgetting what the other one is. Maybe I'll remember before the show's over. But for every style, Sean's got a Pariah pickup for you. So definitely check into that. And then I'll get back over here. Is that my Super Carrot? I think it is. Marsha has shown up, and how come I can't see? Oh, here she is. Marsha's here. It's Tuna Fund for Kylie and Charlie Cat, and coffee on me. I mean, for you. Yeah, There was a couple times Marsha was being super sweet and tried to buy me a coffee on Facebook or something, and I didn't even get it or realize it. Then it declined and sent back to her, and she was all insulted that I didn't get it. And I really just didn't even realize that that's a thing, or Facebook doesn't even tell me that. But anyways, I appreciate everybody that supports the show. Yes, it does go into a weed fund. I'm not gonna lie, it does. There is weed involved in it, but it also does go to the catnip fund, and it goes to the tuna fund, and it goes to, like, I don't know, the show fund. I mean, I got to pay StreamYard. We bought a computer just for the show so I could handle doing multiple podcasts, doing the Fright Bite. Still got $1,000 left to pay on that, but it's like no interest payments, and ever so far it's working out. We've kind of like crowdsourced this channel. You know what I mean? It's like it's smooth sailing. Am I making enough to retire? No, but everything's getting paid, and it's just fun, and we're hanging out, and we're still gonna do it. We're gonna keep on doing it every week. If I'm not here on a Friday, it means that I was playing a gig. Because even if I was sick, I would be here. I'd grab the tissues and grab the soup and sit here and hang out with you guys. The only reason why I wouldn't be here is if I'm out playing with one of the bands I'm in. But the cool thing about that is, if I'm out playing a gig, you are going to get a backstage pass to that show, and you're going to be a part of it. If you're a friend of mine on this channel and you watch those shows, it's going to be like you were there, and you're going to feel just, I don't know, more a part of the scene. And it's all good stuff, man. It's all good. It's all good. Okay, I'm going to make sure now I go back. Hope I don't need glasses, I feel like. All right, did Ming tell a story? Because I'm going to have to find it. I'm going to go back and make sure I didn't miss it. Okay, so I see Josh's story about whittling real drumsticks out of a tree. That's pretty great. We had T-Cuz. Oh, yeah, here we go. Oh, I got another comment from T-Cuz. We've got a great singer from my area that did TSO, Kelly Keeling. He started with his band Baton Rouge, then was on the second Blue Murder record. Then he did John Norum solo records in the mid '90s. Yeah, I've heard of him, and that's pretty awesome. Yeah, I mean TSO. It was started by the Sabotage guys. I don't know if you guys know much of the story of TSO, but it was like, if I'm not mistaken, a lot of the songs that they play were part of some Sabotage offering that they had at some point, and then they kind of turned it into this Christmas thing that's just become a monster, really. I mean, it's such a huge event, and you can see how excited these guys, all the people involved, are to be a part of it, But interestingly enough, Sabotage has some show going on in Europe, and they needed a drummer, and they called upon Bloss to do this run of shows with them. So these next couple shows that you're going to be a part of with the vlogs and everything, Bloss is actually going to be overseas, and we are going to have Jimmy Deanda from the Bullet Boys is going to be with us. So that should be interesting. Now, I'll tell you, Jimmy's a friend. I love Jimmy. He's a sexy drummer. He kicks ass. He's played with us before, and it was super dope. So we're not going to miss a beat, as far as that goes. But also, if you've seen the Death of Me video from The Project, which is one of the bands I play in, Jimmy's in that video, and he played drums on that song, The Death of Me. That's Jimmy playing drums. So a little factoid, right, if you will. Okay, Pool Time with Ron. What's up, Ron? I did a shout out for you, Eric, on my newest video. You have done shout outs for me, and I like to see every channel grow. Me too, brother. As I've told Ron, if you guys have a YouTube channel and you want our friends here to come check it out, just show up to the shows. If I recognize you, you know what I mean, as somebody who hangs out, of course I'm going to promote you and tell people to go over there and check it out. And Ron has a cool channel. Go give him a sub and give him a like and all that good stuff too. Okay, moving along. What do we got here? This is Jim Martinez. Jim, am I gonna have to give you some butt bongos, sir? I know you didn't ask for them, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Did everybody see my little reel where Count Cracula plays butt bongos? He plays Hot for Teacher on your butt. Oh, that was good stuff. Cheers! I'm having a cold one and a toke of mighty foo-foo. All right, good to hear, good to hear. I know I had my little apparatus here somewhere, and it's like went flying away somewhere. Probably for the best. I'll be pushing wrong buttons and all that good stuff. Okay, let me see. Oh, so T-Cuz is saying, then... This is Kelly Keeling, I take it. Then he did MSG record called The Unforgiven, my personal fave, Michael Schenker Group record. Just so good with the melodic guitar wizardry of Schenker. Check it out, will not disappoint. Okay, so the MSG record's called The Unforgiven. T-Cuz says you will not be disappointed. I love watching Michael Schenker play. The last time I saw him was on, it was either the 80s Cruise or the Monsters of Rock. And super dope to watch him jam. It's so cool that he's still up there doing it. And I had a great time at his show. He had a couple different singers. Macaulay was there to sing some songs, and as well as some other guys that came up. And it was super cool, man. The first time I ever met Michael Schenker was at Irvine Meadows here in Southern California when it was in 1991 when RATT was on the Detonator tour and Robin was gone, and they had Schenker would show up and kind of come out to play a handful of songs or whatever with the band. And I obviously knew Steven at that point, and I was probably 17 or something at the time, but he had got me a pass or whatever to get back there. And I remember shaking Michael Schenker's hand back then, and I don't know. Cool memories, man. It's scary when you think about how many years ago that was, but whew, all good stuff. Steve, what's up, brother? Kenny Vaughn and Marty Stewart don't use no effects on their guitars. Well, that's fine. I mean, I do use effects because I just sound better with them. I mean, when I first joined Stephen Pearcy Band, like any videos of me from like 2001 to probably 2010, I didn't use any either. I just had a tuner and I would just turn it up. And that's fine. I mean, that's kind of like a GNR way of doing it in a way, you know, just, I mean, it's not very forgiving to do it that way. And I think later I just started incorporating a couple things to weten up the sound a little bit. I mean, as you can see, I certainly don't use a ton of effects or anything. But in the last, I'd say maybe 8 or 9 years, I've decided that I just love having a little bit of delay on all the time. It's, you know, it's referred to, guitar players would refer that to a duct delay. A duct delay. It's basically duck down, where it's not like cha-chong, cha-chong, cha-chong. It's more like cha-chong, cha-chong, cha-chong. It's like a little bit of a delay, like a short couple millisecond delay that repeats maybe, you know, 3 times or something like that. And it just makes it sound wetter, especially like the hardest thing when I first joined the band was playing outdoors, because that's where it's probably the most unforgiving for guitars. And if you don't have any delay, it's just so dry sounding, and you will hear like any little mess up, you'll hear any little imperfection, you know. And you know, I'll tell you, most of the guys that were playing, and whether it was RATT, Whitesnake, any of those bands, they had a little bit of delay going. I know they did. None of them were like really that dry up there. So in my journey of getting my sound to kind of ballpark what they had going back then, without all the big racks of shit, of course, just like with a couple pedals, I was able to do RATT with just that, you know what I mean? A chorus pedal with just Boss pedals, right? Like chorus, delay. I had my Boss tuner. That was it. Maybe a boost pedal. Like I had the EQ pedal that you could use as a boost. I was all about the Boss pedals for the longest time. I had Tracy Guns come up to me once and he was like, that was my exact setup I had in the 80s. He looked at my like 4 or 5 Boss pedals I had. He wasn't that complex either back in their heyday. Tracy's like probably more experimental with that sort of thing today. In fact, today Tracy Guns is building his own amps, which is really impressive. I actually got a chance to talk to him about that backstage. I just was thinking of something to mention to him, and I have friends that make amps. Obviously, Scott Splawn. Another amp builder of mine friend is Mahaffey Amps. Tris Mahaffey. Check out MahaffeyAmplifiers.com. Mahaffey amplifiers are like 45-watt amplifiers, and I was asking Tris one day. I'm like, can we look at my 100-watt? I think something's wrong with it on my Splawn. He was like, I don't touch those. You could die, messing around with one of those 100-watt amplifiers if you were to go in the head and actually start messing around. And when he told me that, I was like, wow, I didn't realize that they were that dangerous, to open up and work on. He's like, yeah, you could get killed, messing around with those amps. So when I saw Tracy, I wanted to ask him, what voltage amps were that he was working with, and like how cool I thought it was that he was like a man of danger in a sense, right? Where's my danger is my business thing? Is that going?
Relax. Danger is my
I can't even hear. I'm not hearing things exactly right tonight. Oh, maybe that was it. Oh, I almost had it. Hang on. There we go. Is that right?
danger is my
Nah. Are you guys hearing the danger is my business thing? Anyways, I'm not hearing my samples for some reason. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Anyways, but Tracy explained to me what he uses for that. He has these gloves, I guess, that he wears that can withstand like 500 watts of direct current. They can withstand that. So he does work on amps like that. He is totally punk rock in that regard, and that's how he protects himself. He has those gloves, and he's able to work on them. So I don't even know what Tracy Guns is calling his amps. All right, I'm going back to not using these damn things tonight. Having some technical difficulties, but we'll make it work. I like hearing my samples. I feel like I'm not hearing them for some reason. You guys are hearing me though, right? I hope so. Okay, let me go back to the action here. Steve saying, I traded my Gibson 335 for an Epiphone Casino. Straight up. You traded your Gibson 335 for an Epiphone Casino as a straight up trade. Okay, well, Steve, what was going on? Was your 335 like super beat up or something? Because I'm feeling like that wasn't a fair trade. As far as Epiphones, they're not worth just the name alone. I mean, I could be wrong, but maybe you could expound upon that transaction that you did. Let us know what happened there. Warrior X, hi. How long is the effects loop cables? I typically go for 25-foot cables. I mean, 25 feet is sufficient for any stage that I've pretty much played on for the most part. The biggest stage I think I've been on is like the Mohegan Sun stage in Connecticut. There's an arena, the Mohegan Sun Arena there. That's a pretty big stage where like I actually at 25 feet couldn't quite get my pedals out to where I needed. But generally speaking, that's been more than sufficient. And once you start doing the 50-foot cable thing, it just kind of becomes somewhat of a bigger mess. But yeah, when I got my little mono case here with my pedal board, there's just one 25-foot cable I have. Plug that in, and I'm good to go. It's like a super fast setup. EP Booster is a secret weapon every guitar player needs live, in my opinion. Yeah, I wasn't too familiar with it, and then Tris Mahaffey, the amp, my friend that builds the Mahaffey amps, he's the one who turned me on to that. I was like, man, I need something. I need some kind of boost. I need a little something, for when I'm doing my solos. And he pulled that little EP Booster out. He's like, this. And I didn't jive with it at first. I might have had it in the wrong place of the chain. Like as of right now, it's on the back end of everything. I have it like as the last thing in the line of pedals, and I've been turning it at about 9 a.m. And then it just sounded so good, I just freaking left it on. But I feel like that's okay because we have our own sound guy right now, so he can boost me up a little on a solo. And what's also cool is Joel's like, and Logan both were like very cool with the volume thing. I feel like but we wanted to be at an equal volume and then have our boost or whatever from there. And both those guys were respectful that way. Like I know that they kept their volumes the same because I'm using in-ear monitors, but I could see that on my sliders when the sliders were matched, it sounded right. I've had other guitar players where they're twice as loud as they were at sound check, and all of a sudden I'm having to pull them down halfway here. That tells me that they're coming off the stage twice as hot as they should be. When I'm having to pull them down and I'm here, I noticed with these two guys, they're gentlemen, and their things were here, and it was as it should be. And then when I'm watching the videos, it just sounds better. RATT is a 2-guitar band. You need to hear both of those guitars and then have the solo pulled up a little or whatever. But anyways, I thought the boost sounded like that's probably the heaviest my tone's been, without being in a thrash band or something. That the heaviest that a tone you would want for RATT, or whatever, that it's there. I mean, it sounded thick and full. It was pretty. I'm happy with it. Let me just say that. Christianity's here, and I'm wearing your necklace, Christy. Great to see you. Is your boy here tonight? Is Gary here? I talked about you guys earlier. We were talking about when we should do the ghost hunting thing in Savannah, Georgia. And I was thinking maybe on the 50th episode or something, or the 100th episode of Fright Bite would be a cool getaway. We should just all go meet out there and go hunt for ghosts or something. Could be kind of fun. Woo! Yeah, Spicoli, we are back for more, son. Yeah, super cool. And our new friend Shoto Takahashi's here tonight. LOL, Ming, I missed your story on the other live. Yeah, we love when you guys have jokes and stories. Bring it. We need laughter around here. Steve, I'm 66, not into metal, but watch your show. Well, thank you very much. Yeah, 80s rock and the hairband thing is its own thing. When it comes to the 80s, there's like, for example, like Susan loves the 80s, just not that 80s. She's more the new wave. She likes new wave stuff. Like, here in Southern California, we have 91X radio station. That's like more her jam. She likes all that stuff. Which, guess what? I do too. I love all that. I love it all. I love the new wave. I love 80s punk rock. I like the early goth stuff from the 80s. Sisters of Mercy. I like all that stuff. And, I also like thrash music. I like classic rock. Anything that's got a guitar in it, I probably like it. When there's no guitar at all of any sort, it kind of bugs me a little bit. Like, even Motown had guitar in it a little, and the band might have been cleaner sounding and whatever, maybe had a little wah in it or something. But I don't know. I have a vast, smorgasbord of music that I like and listen to. But for her, she is totally not into that stuff. She's not into RATT. She ain't into frickin' any of that. Motley Crue, nah. She was like, Susan was more like a punk rock girl growing up. And that's okay, man. That's okay. But, we got a lot to offer here at the channel. I think things are just interesting right now. Of course, our regular hangouts like this, we're not even playing music. We're just laughing and just shooting the poop or whatever. But, those road vlogs are just interesting. Any kind of music documentary or watching these, seeing how the other half lives, you know what I mean? What it's like to be on the road with these, in some cases, super iconic people from our childhood, like stephenpearcy, man, sold millions of records, and there he is. Oh, I was going to mention that earlier, that Stephen is being very comfortable and cool. I'm not being egregious with filming that sort of thing. I'm not doing the filming while we're eating dinner, and I'm not doing the frickin' airport crap. But I think just, being at the sound checks and backstage and showing some of the live stuff. And then, of course, if something interesting pops off on the road that's out of the ordinary, I'll, of course, film it. But I think that's a good, a good ingredients for this. And it seems to be working. Like, I was like super stoked. Like, this road to Tulare is at 11,000 views in the first few days. I mean, my channel only has like 2,000 subs, so that's super good. You know what I mean? YouTube's now like, suggesting my videos to people. So this is going to grow probably pretty quick. You know what I mean? I was hoping that by the end of this year, I could get the channel to about 5,000 subs. And I think we're going to do it. I think just like when I look at how many people sub up whenever I put one of those videos out, like a couple hundred people are suddenly subs. So you can like do the math and kind of see how long it would take to get the channel to 3,000 to 5,000. And then I think it just exponentially starts growing. It's like a domino effect, you know what I mean? And it's just as YouTube pushes the stuff, people just start jumping on board. But obviously they love those. They love coming along, and you know, typically they don't get to see that sort of thing. So it's interesting, and I'm happy to bring it to you guys. You're going to keep getting it. Okay, so Dratman, if you wanted to add another piece of gear to your rig, what would it be? Well, I mean, it would be cool to have some massive, you know, pedal board that had all kinds of different delays for different things. And, you know, there's cool stuff I could do with a wah pedal too. And it's like, but, you know, like I said, flying with this stuff, it gets a little precarious, you know. You can only have like 50 pounds in your bag when you're checking a bag. And like, I only bring one suitcase. The suitcase has a limited amount of stage clothes and like, you know, day off clothes. And then I have that pedal board I have to bring. And then I also have my in-ear monitor system, which is a kind of a similar size setup. That's got the receiver and the transmitter thing for the in-ear monitors that sits on top of my amp. So there's two cases that fit in my suitcase, and I swear to God, it comes out to like 49.9 pounds when they're doing it. So I literally can't bring any more stuff without having to pay an extra fee. I've heard that if I get a press pass that you could, you know, the weight isn't as restrictive, and we are working to get those. Matt got a press pass, and I actually was supposed to get that. It just reminded me I'm supposed to do that. But I really can't bring anything else for these right now. But right off the top of my head, I'd say a wah pedal and maybe a couple more delays. And you know who's got all kinds of cool boutique pedals is Dennis Hill in the project. Like, especially for just vibey kind of stuff, like overdubby stuff. He's got all the cool pedals for that, and he's got some cool stuff. Like, I'm gonna rehearse with them tomorrow. I should take a look at show you guys his little setup and what it does. If you know, for the guitar players, they might find that interesting. He's the guitars for Face to Face, the punk band Face to Face. Yeah. Okay. RDT, Eric, how do you go about choosing what guitars you're going to play for each show? Well, since 2020, I was bringing Charvels out. I had decided that I was going to go old school RATT and bring back the Charvels because I had never done it. I was always just playing Les Pauls and Tellys, and I feel like people were like, "That's not the right guitar for a gig, man." They were getting just all lame about it. So I go, you know what? I'm gonna give them what they want for the whammy bars, and I bought one of those guitars. I bought two of them, and then I was like, shit, I'm gonna need backups for the backups. I bought like two more. I have 4 Charvels, and I would always make sure 2 of them that I brought were in the best working order, because when you got those tremolo systems and all the inserts and all the Allen wrenchy stuff in there that you're wrenching down on all the time, all that stuff wears down, and you have to always, like, you have to actually like carry around all that stuff with you, like all the spacers that go in there, the screws that go into the locking nut thing on the nut of the guitar. I have like extra of all that stuff because it all fails on you at the wrong time, and you just have to always carry it around. Total pain in the butt. Not to mention, like, time wise, how long it takes to stretch out strings on a Floyd Rose guitar. When I was bringing those 2 guitars, like, no shit, like on a show day, I would say I was collectively putting about, you know, easy 2 hours on each guitar getting them ready to go. So you're talking 4 hours of just stretching strings and messing around, where this, it's like there's none of that. I mean, I could get this thing right. I could throw strings on this and be ready to play in like 5 minutes. So it didn't become as important. And as of right now, I'm playing the Robin roll, the Robin Crosby roll, if you will. So there's not like too much crazy noodling stuff I'm doing. So this guitar is fine for that. You know, before, when I was on lead guitar and I had the Charvels, it kind of made it a little easier to do some of the faster stuff maybe. And obviously if the part involved the whammy bar, I was able to mess with that. Joel he went and got Warren's literal guitar. I think I meant to talk about that earlier. He showed up and had Warren's like skull guitar. Interesting. He was doing it just, I mean, I know why Joel did it. He was showing love to Warren. Like, he's like, hey man, he was just trying to be like, show respect. And, he really learned, Warren's parts very well. And he just wanted to be cool to Warren and not have it be a weird, thing. And he thought it'd be cute and funny or whatever, if whether he could, continues to keep taking that guitar, I don't know. He has the American one though. That Warren guitar is the American Charvel, and man, it's a good guitar. I mean, I have the Mexican ones that are great guitars too. They're built in Mexico here. There's like a Tijuana factory. It's probably only 40 miles from my house, so it's pretty much an American guitar. I mean, I could be at that factory in less than an hour. You know what I mean? But anyways, I don't know exactly what's different. Maybe it's a step up on the Floyd Rose or whatever. But he's having pretty good luck keeping that thing in tune, and he's laying in on the whammy bar on a lot of that stuff. I mean, it is cool to have that in the mix. You know what I mean? We both don't need to be, going off on that thing all the time, but there were some moments in the show where he just like, shined for a minute doing his thing. You're like, wow, this sounds really great. Steven's super stoked on it, and the fans are like having a great time at the shows, and I think it's just going to get better and better. I mean, you have to remember, like, we didn't have any rehearsals for that. Like, Joel had to learn the stuff, Logan had to learn the stuff on their own, and they just kind of showed up, and maybe we went over a couple songs at sound check, and that's it. That was the first time Joel and I really shared the stage together, was at that show. So if you're happy with that, oh man, it's going to get like exponentially better with each show. And another thing I'm excited about is the performance, aspect of it. I like to put on a performance. I'm not a guy who just stands there staring at my shoes the whole time. Obviously, I don't need to run around like a lunatic either. You know what I mean? It's a Stephen Pearcy concert. Their focus needs to be on him. But I always liked bands that like where the two guitar players would, switch sides of the stage and, kind of go back, and everybody gets a chance to see each guy wherever you are in the crowd. And Joel's like way about that. Being in the TSO, that's their comfort zone, is running around and doing all that stuff. So I love it. Like, we're already doing that. We're like switching around. Background vocals are sounding way better. Matt's singing now. So it's like we got 3 people singing, which is epic. So I have high hopes for all the shows. Spicoli, Fancoli is my dude. Yeah, Fancoli's one of the villains on the Fright Bite. I just ordered a bunch of new characters for the show. I don't want to give it away, but man, the costume department went big yesterday. I gotta like energize the Fright Bite. I believe in the Fright Bite, and I want to see it grow. It really comes down to like, who do you guys know that likes comedies and thinks like that vampire aesthetic kind of stuff is funny to them, or they enjoy that stuff. They kind of have a gothy side to them, but they're also funny people. That's people you probably want to share the Fright Bite with. And if you could do me a favor, find one of the live Fright Bites that you think they'd like, copy the link and send it to them and go, dude, check out this podcast. It's pretty original and funny, and let's get more people there. You know what I mean? They don't, I mean, the road vlogs probably get the most views. My Friday nights are doing great. Let's get more people at those Fright Bites, because actually that show takes the most effort to put in, as far as the costumes and all the bits we have to film and all that stuff. Skylar, that's awesome. Dahlia rocks. Yeah, I'm super excited that she'll be here tomorrow. We're doing all new photo shoots, and we're gonna film for the show. It's gonna be super dope. Okay, Lee Ming. Why don't you like metal, Steve? He's asking Steve why he's not into metal. Hey, it's not for everybody. I mean, even me, now, like, there's only like so much heavy stuff I can handle. You know, I notice the kind of people that love that stuff the most are the ones that are very calm people generally. that are just really subdued. Those are the people that listen like those guys could listen to that stuff all day long, and like that's how they get it out of them. Like me, I'm just a very like animated person. I'm just whatever. I have high blood pressure. I have like all these things, and like for me, when I listen to that music, it makes me want to grab a hammer and smash people's heads in. Like that's bad. You know what I mean? Like I listen to chill stuff normally. When I'm working out, I have probably a little more heavier maybe stuff I might listen to tempo wise just to keep me moving in the gym and whatever. But generally, yeah, I don't reach for the super duper heavy stuff, and I'm not a fan of like I can't do that stuff. I prefer I like thrash singers. James Hetfield was like one of the most amazing, you know, thrash singers that ever lived. You know what I mean? I was way into Metallica when I was a young teen, and you know, stuff. I appreciate, I liked Slayer and all those Testament and all those bands growing up. And then, you know, I appreciated bands like Slipknot and stuff in the late 90s. And it's scary that they're already considered like a classic rock band to this point, right? Slipknot of all things, but they are. Limp Bizkit, all those bands are getting older, and take those masks off. They got gray beards and gray hair and stuff. It's nuts. Woo! Psychedelic River Chickens is super stoked. Fright Bite road trip, come on. Yeah, that'd be cool. You know, I do got a lot of miles, you know, Delta miles, and shit, I'm probably soon to have a lot of Southwest miles, because it seems like we've been flying Southwest more. It's been, Southwest Airlines has kind of stepped up a little bit. It sucks that they're not doing the free bags like they were, but they are. The planes just seem a little nicer, and like honestly, the people flying it seems a little higher class than it was getting. It was starting to be like the city bus taking Southwest, and I was really dreading it when they had like open seating, and it was just became an issue. And it's like now it's reserved seating. I just feel like it was a little more enjoyable. I feel like Southwest is now kind of like Delta was, you know, before. They've kind of stepped up, and maybe now that Spirit's gone, you know, they're just taking that spot over. I don't know. Whew, I don't know what I'm even talking about here. Okay, Trapman, if you want bad, check out the band Complete. Check out the band. What are you saying? If you want bad, check out the band. Like the group, the band from back in the late 60s, early 70s? Is that what we're talking about? You're losing me. Lee Ming Incorporated. Ever since Ming was a little boy, he loved jokes. Back in the 1980s, they opened joke store near Ming's family's house. Ming begged Father Ming to take him to joke store, but Father Ming hated jokes and humor. Oh, well, that's not good. Spicoli says that's lame. Man, it is.
Off my case, toilet face.
What about it?
You dick. Up your nose with a rubber hose.
I hope you guys can hear those. I can't hear him. I don't know what's going on. Hopefully you guys are hearing my voice tonight. Okay. And spray handle got stuck, so fart spray went everywhere, all over the store. Oh, what? I missed this first part. Sorry, I went to the punchline. Oh, wait. I'm missing Ming's whole story here. Okay, wait. Let me go back. I'm blowing it. Okay. Let me get... It's time for Ming. It's Ming's 15 minutes of fame here. Father Ming was serious, man. So one day Ming snuck out and went to joke store. While Father Ming was sleeping on couch, he drank too much sake. So he went nights. Okay. And then it was heaven on earth for a jokester like Ming. There was whoopee cushions, fake spiders. They had everything a jokester's heart could desire. Ming saw something that caught his attention. A fart spray. He thought that would be a perfect prank to play on Father Ming. If he gets in trouble, he can blame it on the dog. Go on. So Ming saw a price, but realized he brought no money, and he didn't know any better, so he tried to steal it, but owner caught Ming. It jumped. He did not realize his hand was on the handle of fart spray. I need the butt bongos out. Hold on. Okay. And then what happened? They had to close down Joke Store. Father Ming came to pick Ming up and he was pissed. Oh man, the fart spray went everywhere at the Joke Store. Oh, well, that's just terrible. I've had to have my parents come get me out of trouble too. This is kind of a funny story. I got arrested before a Shotgun Messiah concert, if you could believe that. Shotgun Messiah, which very cool band if you're not familiar. They were kind of the tail end of the Swedish band, and they were kind of at the tail end of the 80s kind of rock sound. Currently, the singer's playing in Marilyn Manson's band. He's playing bass, and the guitarist just recently kind of surfaced again. And they were playing the La Paloma Theater in Encinitas. You'll hear me mention Encinitas because that's kind of where I went to school. It's where Eddie Vedder's from Pearl Jam, who I've met before and smoked out with and stuff. So good times. But anyways, they were playing the historic La Paloma Theater, and of course I was underage at the time, and had a couple friends. Had this like Sid and Nancy couple that I was hanging out with that I hadn't known all that long, but they were going to the concert, and I had a dream date with me. I had like this total, super cute like 80s blonde girl named Shanoa, and like I don't even know that many girls named that. I ended up seeing her on social media like maybe a couple years ago, and I mentioned this, and she pretended like she did not know me whatsoever and denied that this even happened, which was really strange, but it did. Anyways, we had somehow got a case of beer. There was a liquor store at the time in town that sold to everybody. It was liquor. It was called Liquor Faucet, and it was the one place that they didn't card, and high school kids could go in there and buy beer. There's always a place like that, or at least there was back then. They've gotten a little tighter with that sort of thing, but in the late 80s, there was always some place that you were able to go in and buy booze if you didn't look too young. Anyway, we had a case of beer, and we decided to go before the show. We're just gonna have a little just get a little buzz on, go see this awesome Shotgun Messiah concert in this theater, which would have been super dope. It was back when they had the sex, drugs, rock and roll. It was like that tour, right? And anyways, we were in the alley behind the laundromat across the street, and I had just literally like cracked the first beer. And all of a sudden, an Encinitas sheriff's guy came up, burp, burp, and just decided he was going to ruin our lives, which a cool cop would have just dumped the beers and let us go on with our night. I mean, we hadn't even drank one yet, you know what I mean? But this guy decided he was going to call for backup. He was going to get us for minors with alcohol or whatever, the offense. My punk rock Sid and Nancy friends, the girl started mouthing off, and man, those cops like started kind of roughing her up a little bit. It was kind of awkward, and then she was pissed off, and we were like handcuffed in the back of the car, getting driven just a mile up to their little sheriff's station there, and she was mouthing off, and he would slam on the brakes, and we would like our faces would like smash into the cage of the and anyways, what a night. But yeah, we had to call our parents up, and it was just, that was like the beginning of probably my dad's like disappointment with me, where he just realized this kid's just gonna freaking die. He's gonna end up on the street. And and he's said that kind of stuff to me before. He's like, if you think you're gonna go and like be a rock guy or whatever, play guitar, you're gonna be living under a bridge. Like, I remember him telling me that, and it was pretty sound advice. I mean, he's not wrong. Like most of kids that go out and try to do what I did will totally end up living under a bridge. But somehow I'm living on the beach, man, and playing for Stephen Pearcy. I don't know how this all worked out, but it did, and I'm thankful that I'm not living under a bridge. Yeah. Okay. Who's this? We got Tallis Finney. Hello, Eric. Come out to Hot Springs, Arkansas. I know some creepy Wiccan looking houses in the woods. Well, hey. That sounds spooky. Yeah, I'm willing to do that if I have a bunch of friends with me. I mean, there's no way I'm going out and meeting one of you guys in the creepy woods by myself. I can tell you that much. Oh man, I know I have a
You're frightening me, hillbilly.
No, hey, I'm down with it. If you guys know some places and you think Gary should bring his Ghostbuster stuff, and me and Dahlia should come in character and do some kind of like taking the fright bite on the road, let's make a list of places. But it looks like Savannah, Georgia. Everybody knows Savannah, Georgia's got all the historical ghosts and stuff. I mean, that's like shooting ghosts in a barrel. You know what I mean? Spicoli, Pearcy is hilarious. He really is. I mean, what you're seeing backstage, you know, him dancing, and that's him, man. That's his warm up, you know. And singers like, how do you warm up? That's how he warms up. He just likes to laugh and be loud and just kind of get in a good mood, you know, just kind of joke around with the band. And I mean, he's such a cool dude. You know, as far as like national acts I played in, by far he was the coolest boss you could ever freaking have. Like, you have to F up really bad to get fired from this band. You have to be a fucking idiot really to get fired, to be honest. He is so easygoing, and he's a guy that's made a ton of mistakes in his life. He knows that, you know what I mean? So he's more apt to give somebody, you know, 20 chances, you know what I mean? And for me, I'm lucky because I've had some stuff happen in the band over the last 25 years, but as of now, like I'm probably the most pro I've ever been. Like, I don't drink anymore, and I'm not out. If I have merch, I might go out to the merch booth to help get it sold or whatever. But I generally don't even go looking for trouble anymore. I'm just like, okay, my most important thing to me is like making sure I don't leave anything behind. And once you start partying and doing that sort of thing, that's how you leave shit behind. When we're done playing, I'm like, I don't pay a tech to come out. I'm like, put my own cable. I only have one cable, but you know, getting all my pedals back away. If we're opening for a bigger band, I want to make sure my stuff's out in time for them or whatever. And I just want to make sure I have everything. I have to like get all the sweat and schmutz off my guitar, pack it up, and it takes me a good like 15 minutes after the show just to get everything packed up and staged and in a safe area. You know, that's number one. And then once that's done, I probably like have a snack or something backstage. I mean, but it's not like the old days when I was like running out to try to find women to go get into trouble with after the show. Like, those days are kind of behind me for now. I don't know. You never know. I might turn into that guy again at some point, but as of lately, you're getting the pro Erik, who's never late for bus call, gets all his flights and does everything the right way. Willie Wayne, yo, rockers, what's up? Cool. And we got Johnny Ponder in the house. Hey, yo, everybody. Scholar Bees, are you liking the like button? Yes, you should hit that like button. And Li Ming, the end. That was a great story, Li Ming. We liked your fart spray story. Keep the hits coming, my friend. Johnny Ponder, you are right about Steven's autograph. I have 8 of them. Yeah, it's like he's got the Whirlybird Flying Saucer Pearcy autograph. It's interesting. Spicoli, I think Phil looks cool, man. Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. Stephen Pearcy in July 3rd is going to be 70 years old. That guy you saw moonwalking backstage and disco dancing and then going up and laying it down, going round and round. That dude is going to be 70 goddamn years old, man. Like, no shit. Like, my grandfather died at 72, and he did not look anything near what Steven looks like. I mean, he looked old. And my grandfather looked 100 years old. He had like one lung. He had smoked 5 packs a day. He had one lung. He had 10 heart attacks. He looked like Franken-grandpa. It was just, you know, all those cancer surgeries in the 70s, you know, they're brutal. You know, he literally looked like Frankenstein. And it's amazing that he even lived to 72, my grandfather. But Steven's going to be 70, and he's still outperforming. And so, you know, you got to give him a round of applause, you know, for that. I mean, you definitely don't want to be giving somebody shit like that, because he doesn't have to go do that. You know what I mean? He could pack it in right now. You'll never see him again. And we don't want that. Everybody wants to still rat and roll. I look at Alice Cooper, and Alice Cooper's, you know, going to be 80. You know what I mean? And he's still out there putting on. That's amazing. Alice Cooper's freaking amazing. And I talk about this, how I saw him earlier this year with Judas Priest, and what an awesome show it was. You know, both bands have epic lineups in the band, you know, musician wise. And I had a great time at those shows. I mean, I probably wouldn't have gone because sometimes when bands get really old, I kind of don't go. Like I turned down going to see The Who like a year ago because I didn't want my last memory of The Who to be these great grandpas sitting in a lawn chair on the stage with all the glass, you know, with the, I mean, the last time I saw, you know, Roger Daltrey, right? He was like yelling at Starkey. Ringo's son was like playing drums for The Who, and he was like, he was getting annoyed that the drums were too loud and it was messing him up, and he was like just doing the whole "get off my lawn" thing, and he fired the drummer after that. And Pete Townsend, who's one of the greatest, you know, live performers of all rock history, you know what I mean? Who, like, all the moves we do today, that guy like invented pretty much, him and Hendrix, you know? And it's like, he's sitting in a chair, dude. You know what I mean? It's like, I mean, I'd rather almost like put on an old Who concert and turn it up and just remember the Who that I remember from the 70s and the 80s. I mean, they've been around since the 60s, but yeah, it wasn't the last memory I wanted to have. I didn't feel like driving up to Los Angeles and paying all the parking and going in and seeing something like that. But as far as Pearcy, I mean, I think he's singing just as good as he was 20 years ago, or better in a lot of cases. The new album that we're doing, I think his voice sounds stronger than it did on Smash and View to a Thrill. So that's pretty dope. So there's no reason for him to stop. But I think these guys, you know, put a plan into, you know, they go, hey, let's go 2 years. Let's go 2 years and then or reassess, you know, or whatever. So, I mean, he's ready to get serious. Like, I could be working a lot, you know, like in the next 2 years. So that's pretty awesome because I was just not working a lot for like a year. So I had a nice vacay. I'm ready to work a lot. Johnny Ponder, I like Phil Lewis's new look. Yeah, I was going to bring that in. So I believe that Phil is close to Steven's age, if not the same age. Those guys are around the same age. So, I mean, how long is Phil going to try to look like the Phil Lewis from, you know, 1985? It's 2026, guys. I mean, there's a point where you just like, you go, look, I'm old. I'm old. What are you, yeah. You know what I mean? And you just hit that point and but again, like, I was being sincere. I think he looks great. You know what I mean? But when people are just trying to do all these like artificial things to try to be this guy that they're just not anymore, it's just, it gets painful. It's like, I'd rather see people just accept who they are and maybe help change that weird stigma that they give older people. You know what I mean? Like, whatever, making fun of them or what. It's dumb. It's dumb. He looks totally cool. And the most important thing of all is that the guy sings exactly like he did when LA Guns first, you know, came out. His voice sounds to me exactly the same, and that's incredible. I love LA Guns. You know, I always did. Like, if you're my age, I'm 53. Cocked and Loaded, all those albums, those were like my high school memories, you know, of music. So those songs, you know, hold a special part, you know, in my brain. So when we play with LA Guns, I love that stuff. I love hearing them play and do the sets. And I love that it's a real rock show. You know, it's not, LA Guns doesn't have any tapes going. That's ridiculous. And neither do we. And nor will you ever see something like that. Jason Munt, that dude in the back looks cool. Yeah, which dude are we talking about? And Jason, you make those cool, you're the one that makes the cool like laser engraved stuff, right? Is that you? Am I wrong? But I gotta get with you on that. You had some cool stuff, and I should order some from you. Willie Wayne, thanks for coming to Adventist Amphitheater. We love the bands that come to rock out. You're welcome. So, Willie, answer my question. Was I like saying the town wrong in the vlog? Is it actually pronounced Tulare or is it Tulare? Let me know. Just put Larry if it's Larry and I'll know what you mean. Okay, Spicoli. Wasp is so underrated, dude. I put them up there with Motley. Yeah, I freaking love Wasp, and you know, that tour that we did back then was special to me. I have a good friend that plays in Wasp, Mike Duda, who's also played in the Stephen Pearcy band over the years and stuff, and they're just rad, man. I always remember that that Wasp tour. I mean, that 2005, like I would go play, and then we were actually third down. I think it went us and then LA Guns and then Wasp, but I was like out in the audience, you know what I mean? I every night I would go out and watch the show. It was just, you know, Blackie put on a great show, and it was great memories, and it's super sweet that he's still out doing it too. Talis Finney met Steven in '89 after a concert at Barton Coliseum, and I got invited to party after and still remember the wild night. It was so awesome. Ah! Yeah, that's so cool. I got to play Barton Coliseum, and that was a pretty dope night. I believe I did a road vlog on it, but it was super cool. I think it was like we were playing the fair, and we happened to play, and that was just, I don't know. Sometimes you're like playing an arena, and that was like one of those nights. Like when we're in Connecticut, we play that the arena there at the Mohegan Sun, Barton Coliseum. Like there's still some spots where I get to, you know, live the dream and like step on stage on an arena, and it's like super dope. Okay. What else we got here? Met Phil back in 1989 in LA. Couldn't believe they started touring again. And it was a great show last September. Second to RATT, of course. I mean, I don't remember LA Guns ever taking a break, dude. I think Phil has been going the whole time. I mean, if there's anything that went down, you know, him and Tracy had parted ways for like a pretty significant amount of time. Like even that 2005 Metal Blast tour when it was Wasp and LA Guns, it was Stacy Blades, was the first time I met Stacy back then, and he was the guitar player at the time. And Tracy was like, he had his own like he had other things. He was doing Brides of Destruction. He was he had a couple other bands. He might have been doing his own kind of version of LA Guns, because I do recall going on the road with them or something. God, it was probably already like 10 years ago. And we went to Mexico. We did this like tour of Mexico with Tracy's, you know, version of the band that was interesting. I remember it was really cool. I have to say I love Mexico. I mean, traveling to there when you go like to Mexico City or, you know, these places, it's super, super cool. But at one point we played like a bullfighting arena. It was like a rickety one too. I mean, I thought we were going to get electrocuted or something. It was the most like jerry-rigged setup as far as like playing goes, and it was raining and a little bit. It was interesting, but I remember Tracy was there. It was funny that bullfighting arena once. I remember we were playing it, and he was like, "Those guys will kind of like not mess with you," but I remember Tracy came and he sat down like right next to me on stage and brought a whole lunch, and he sat there and like ate a sandwich while I was playing. It was just like watching the show. He was just being a goofball or something. I thought it was funny. I love Tracy Guns' songwriting and his playing and everything, so it didn't bother me or anything. I was just like, I knew what he was messing with me, but it didn't bother me. I thought it was cool. And you know, as I said, I talked to him the other day at that show, and those guys were totally nice to me, and I appreciate it because like I said, I'm a fan. So okay. Moving on. So glad to see Steven looking good and happy. He does look good. Guys, gotta remember, he's gonna be 70, dude. I mean, he's still, when you can still kind of rock the look you had, you know, 50 years ago, that's pretty cool, man. Not too many grandpas, you know, looking like that walking on stage. And he's also like another, you know, natural guy. Like Steven wasn't somebody who was gonna go, oh, get the plastic surgery. You know, Botox. None of us really do. We don't do that stuff, man. We're gonna age like normal people, and we age together, right? Our people. We're gonna grow old together, man. That's it. We're not trying to pretend like we're 20 years old. I don't want to hang out with 20-year-olds, or maybe I do. I don't know. Not really. If they're there, great. I mean, obviously we play shows where there's kids and fairs and stuff like that, and I think it's an honor to play a concert for a young kid that's like, you know, you're the first concert they're ever seeing in their life. How freaking cool is that, man? I love that aspect. But as far as like generally speaking, I don't generally hang out with people half my age, you know what I mean? I like to hang out with my people. We grew up in the same era and have more in common. You know what I mean? Stoney Jackson, how's it feel on the other side of the stage? It was interesting. I liked it. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I was on stage left for 25 years, but it was like this whole open space, and I was kind of almost there by myself, where I feel like I'm more like a part of something on the right now. And I love Matt. You guys know how much I love Matt, and it's cool to be with him over there. You know what I mean? We're kind of getting our little, Judas Priest rock moves together and stuff, and it's kind of cool how we got all the mics up and we're singing together, and we kind of worked it out. It's working. You know what I mean? He has his little spot that he likes to stay in. That's kind of that little cubby next to the drum riser and the bass. That's kind of his main spot. And then I'm kind of like just over from there, a little up from him. I do a lot of the singing and stuff, but obviously I have to stay back, give Pearcy his little, runway there to walk back and forth across. Our choreography isn't all that complex. It's probably the most complex it's ever going to be now that Joel's going to like raise the stakes up a little bit. And, Logan too. Logan was doing that stuff too. He was putting on a show as well. So whichever guy we're going to be doing the and kind of giving more to see on stage. Things seem pleasant in the Pearcy camp, dude. They are like, we didn't realize it, to be honest. Like, I think, Bloss was the one that just kept saying it. He was just like, man, it's like a dark cloud has gone away or something. He was like, literally would not just stop repeating how happy he was and how better the whole vibe was of the band, and how it's like now just down to like, humble, cool people that are just looking out for each other and just in a pleasant mood, and just things couldn't be smoother. And it's like seeing the difference of like a tour manager that actually like advances the shows properly, and we have everything we need, and he's helping us. He's got dudes helping carry stuff, and he's, just going above and beyond for the band. And you could tell that he cares about us. You know what I mean? And I love it. I love having him on the team. And it's just, I'm happy that I didn't give up. I'm happy that I didn't quit when everything was getting so stupid with those other guys. You know what I mean? That I didn't allow myself to be bullied out of the situation. You know what I mean? That I just hung in there, and now I can actually have fun again, because I wasn't having fun. I was not enjoying myself. I was not happy for the last 3 years, and it sucks because I've dedicated half my life to this band, and to not be happy in it was a fucking crime. You know what I mean? So to be happy again and, feel accepted with the people around me is a big deal. You know what I mean? And, to have somebody, of Joel's level respect me. And, he was so nice. He was like, dude, I don't have to take all the solos. And I was like, I mean, he's a freaking monster on guitar. I don't mind handing him, over, because he does it justice. You know what I mean? And he's just pleasant about it. He's not coming in and demanding I hand him over everything like some arrogant fuckface. You know what I mean? Like, I was happy to hand it over to him. Okay. So Lee Ming saying, he was serious, man, never smiled or laughed. I don't know who Ming's talking about, but probably someone. We'll just take his word for it. No music, no life. Where are you guys coming back to Japan, or when are you coming back to Japan? I would love to go to Japan. Steven has such cool stories of RATT going to Japan, and they were so beloved in Japan in the 80s, and they've come back a couple times. To be honest, like, Bobby screwed something up for them at some point, and when you rub the Yakuza the wrong way, it's a little bit of an issue. You know what I mean? But maybe now that he's not involved, we could potentially come back. And because I've never been to Japan. I was supposed to go with Pump 5 last year, and that fell through. I would love to go with Steven to Japan. I think it has to happen. And it's going to happen in the next year, probably, or two. In fact, I got to get my passport together. Excuse me. Tikas. Lights Out was the Jay Giles singer solo. Oh, really? It wasn't Jay Giles? Oh, maybe you're right. It was Peter Wolf solo. Tikas. Pulling my card on that one. Also that Come As You Are or Don't Come At All song. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I was I was teasing, you know, Pearcy because he was saying something about dancing. I was like, is that where that came from? I knew it wasn't, but I was just being a silly person because we just like to sing songs and break dance backstage, you know. Let's see, Josh. Interesting fact: LA Guns filmed "I Want to Be Your Man" music video on the southeast steps of the Denver City Hall and inside the historic Gothic Theater. Wow, I didn't know that, Josh. That's pretty cool. Did you guys know that? I'm gonna have to put on their video. "I Want to Be Your Man" later. Is that actually? You know, I feel like I just saw that. Was that the one that was kind of like a Beatles Mania video, where it had all the screaming girls and they're like in a it looks like like the Beatles on the Ed Sullivan Show. Is that "I Want to Be Your Man"? Cool video, funny. Scott, awesome on adding the front of house engineer. Yes, good call. I mean, it really is, and he's worked with some huge names too. He's not definitely no slouch. There he is, Sid Crazy. Hey brother, hell yeah! What's happening, Gary? Gary's new song, "Live for Tomorrow," mixed by Max Norman, who mixed Blizzard of Oz. Ozzy, like Gary's not effing around, dude. He got some big people involved in this. He got Billy Sheehan to play bass. Can you believe that? He also got Robert Sarzo to play guitar on it. And then you even get a little guitar solo by me in there at some point. And super cool. So I'm sure he's going to be, you know, debuting that soon. And I'm sure he'll make a cool video and all that stuff. So we'll have to have Gary on the show. I mean, he's a regular here every Friday night. And him and his lady, Christy, come to the Fright Bites. So like he's somebody I would have on as a guest. So when he's ready, I'll definitely have Gary see you guys, because he's an interesting dude. He's interesting, and he'd be a cool guy to have on. Shota wants to know if No Music No Life is Japanese or not. Yeah, let's find out. Let's see. And oh, there he is, D-Champ. Damn, I'm late for the show. Yeah, he's on the Pump 5 team, and I'll be seeing him again. I think I'm playing the Pump 5 Colorado shows coming up. These next ones are Alex Kane. Will be at the very next Pump 5 ones. Of course, Alex, fantastic performer and guitarist from Live Sex and Death. Whew. Shoto is just curious because he is also Japanese. And that's super cool. I love Japanese people. They're funny and cool and awesome. Let's see. Li Ming is from China. So Li Ming's Chinese, and then Chateau is Japanese. So we got all a buffet of Asians here tonight, and we welcome all of you because, you know, that's how we are, man. We love everybody. Yeah, Ohio from Tokyo. Shotokon. Very cool. Good stuff. Johnny wants to know if I've ever owned an EVH guitar. I have not owned an EVH guitar. I think I've played on one of the Wolfgangs just to check it out. You know what I mean? I thought it was a pretty solid guitar. I know that yeah, Joel, his second guitar was an EVH guitar. He had an Eddie guitar, so he brought the Warren guitar, and then he had like the full-blown Bumblebee EVH Eddie guitar. I don't know, dude. Joel was ripping it up on both those guitars, so either one, if it's good enough for Joel, it's probably good enough for anybody to kick ass on. You know what I mean? Cool stuff. Skojo is going to be at the Louisiana show at the L'Auberge coming up, and he can't wait for that. And Tim will be there too. So you'll see some of our posse. You'll see Skojo and you'll see Tim in the next road vlog. So that's pretty cool. And yep, Tim's like, party in Louisiana. Dude, talk about smoking the ganja. Man, Tim doesn't F around. That guy shows up with like a pound of weed, and it's just like, oh, Like my eyes are bleeding by the time I get out of there. Like, did that happen, or was it a dream, or I don't know. Did you have Charlie Nation? Okay. Okay, Jay Cougar. I like Gutter Ballet, Hall of a Mountain King, and Edge of Thorns from Sabotage. Yeah, they're a highly respected band. I remember Hall of the Mountain King when I was young. I thought, back when I was a young teenager and like the more, it was like there was heavy metal, of course, was around for a while, but there was kind of the more like, Queensryche and Fate's Warning and Sabotage, bands coming out. I liked that stuff. I thought it was cool. I was into it. I mean, I don't think chicks liked it much, but I mean, when I was in my, Dungeons and Dragons phase of junior high school, I thought it was good stuff. I don't know. Joe, hi bud, it's Joe from is it Tulare? Is it pronounced Tulare, or it's not Tulare, it's Tulare concert. How you doing, brother? I'm doing awesome, man. It was good to meet you, Joe. Thanks for being here tonight. Yeah, so, yeah, Spicoli's like calling me out. He wants me to take a toke with him, and okay, let me see if I have something. Hold on, buddy. Let me try to find out. Oh, the Unleashed will be back after these messages. I had my yellow one, but here you go, buddy. I go with you. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Spicoli! What? Okay, I'm too high. I have to end the show now. No, I'm just kidding. The show's just getting started. Okay. T-Cuz, I might make the Lake Charles show. Not sure yet. You are going to make the Lake Charles. It's not a question, T-Cuz. I want to meet you, dude. If you need help getting into the show, let me know, and I'll get you into it. T-Cuz, I'll be at Lake Charles. Yeah, you want to hang with Skojo and Tim? Come on, man. Puff, puff, pass. Let's do it. Spicoli 420. We're all on dope. It's true. It is true.
What are you people? On dope?
Okay. Let's see. Dallas Vinny, Spicoli 420 can't take a puff puff, but can do the beers and some is that a Tylenol? I guess beer and a Tylenol, it looks like, but yeah, it's some cheers. Cheers, big ears, and up your bum. Yeah. And Russell thinks that I'm so lit. Oh my god, dude, I smoke weed from like the time I wake up till I go to bed. It's just it's a culture. I'm like Rastafari, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. Maybe I was from Jamaica, like my past life or something. It's the way I live. Pearcy lives that way. It's just our lifestyle, man. It's never gonna change. And there's always been a lot of, negative propaganda about the plant, but God made it, man. It's good for you. It's a good thing. I mean, what's not good is all the chemicals they put into it nowadays, all the weird shit. But as far as like the natural plant itself, we should be utilizing way more, especially like for hemp and stuff like that. It bothers me if you ever like historically like look back into paper and that whole reason why they demonized weed, because they didn't want to compete with that sort of thing. They didn't want the competition, and so they demonized weed and made it illegal and all these things. But we shouldn't be chopping down trees for that stuff. You know what I mean? It's like hemp's way stronger, and also clothing and everything. I feel like there's so many things on the planet that we do the wrong way in the sake of commerce and increasing our bottom line and things that hurt the planet. It hurts us. And I'd almost like to go back in time, just the way things used to be. Like, have the milkman drop off the milk in glass bottles. You know what I mean? Let's go back to have the Sparklets guy show up with the big glass thing. I don't know, but it's like, just because something's cheaper doesn't mean it's better, you know? Yeah, I'm getting high. I don't even know what I'm talking about. Okay, let's move on here. Spicoli, I smoked weed with Tracy Guns, dude. He's actually a funny dude and a great guy. He's totally great. Tracy's great. You know, where most of us are gonna like have trouble is with politics. So let's just fuck politics and not even talk about politics because they're both full of shit. I've said this. I'm not gonna make this about politics, but you know, the fast version, I can't stand either side. You know what I mean? They're both criminals. They're both just forget about it. I'm like somewhere in the. I'm a libertarian. I'm like somewhere in the middle, I guess. I don't know. So if you're ever curious, I just don't like to be put in some, you know, oh, he must be a Trump guy or he must be a whatever guy. You know, no, I'm neither of those guys. I think all y'all are crazy. Oh, it looks like I got a pretty big super chat that I might be able to retire from podcasting from. The Project Band practice is next Saturday, dude. But you're welcome to come up and we can jam out. Oh, man. Thank you so much, Jimmy. Yeah, I don't even know what I was thinking. Tomorrow's like I'm filming the Fright Bite. But yes, what's awesome is I have a whole week to get ready for this next project rehearsal. And honestly, I want to promote the band. Like, okay, if you guys are on my Facebook, you've seen that I've already shown clips of Dennis's neighborhood in Pomona that have all these peacocks, wild peacocks. Like, oh, they're magnificent. The male peacocks are the ones that have all the regalia that is just phenomenal, like to check out, like just in nature, like how the universe just gives them, you know, all this bling bling to attract the other female peacocks with. The females look kind of plain Jane, you know, they have a little bit of that cool color, peacocky, you know, blues and greens on their neck or whatever, but then they kind of just look like you know, hens or something. They're just kind of like brown kind of looking. It's the males that look all crazy, but you know, Susan found the history on it of who that first person was that owned them or whatever in the town. But now they're just like took over the neighborhood, and it's like a weird, not weird, but it's like a magical Dr. Seuss kind of neighborhood that Dennis lives in. Like, I love it. I would, even though I'm so Oceanside and this is my hood, like, I could move to that area. I could move to Pomona and be content if my neighborhood looks like his, you know. I could be happy. Happiness is a choice. We should all know that by now. I could be happy anywhere. But I was just saying, I love going up to rehearse in that spot. Where am I going with this? I want to like kind of film some of the rehearsal just because it's so cool. Like, we're just like in Dennis's garage and he just like leaves the garage door open and we just blast out the neighborhood like it's the 80s all over again. It's totally fun. But anyways, thank you, Jimmy, for the gas money. Super stoked that we're going to start playing live again. And actually the first show, which I will mention to you guys, we're playing the Tiki in Costa Mesa. So anybody that's SoCal area, come check out the project. And that is going to be on July 31st. It's a Friday, y'all. So obviously we won't be doing an Unleashed, but we're going to be unleashing the project. And check out some of the videos I was in with these guys. The project on YouTube, Death of Me, is an awesome song, one of my favorite songs of all time, and I'm super stoked I got to play the solo on it. I think some of my rhythm guitars are on it and some of the parts too. I'm in the video for a song called Hope. And Jimmy, what's the other one? We did 2 videos in one day on there. Was it Best Days? Is that right? The other one is Best Days. So we got 3 videos right now you could look up for the project and check out. Make sure you're following the project's YouTube channel and you're liking those songs on there. And we have some amazing stuff, which I've played for you guys. Some of the stuff that's not even finished yet, and that's one of the benefits when I'm excited about something, I like to share it with my friends. Like, hey man, it's like you're in my living room and I'm gonna like, hey, check this out. It's something we're working on. What do you think? And that's something you'll find here when you keep showing up. Okay, so Russell, Erik rules. Well, I'm happy that you feel that way. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Steve, I typed that a half hour ago. The pedal effect was just a comment. When Marty Stewart played David Letterman, they were wondering where all their effects were. Interesting. Oh. Oh, well, that's true. Oh, well, he had it. You know, look at this. Maybe I should just like keep messing up all the information because look, I'm going to be a rich man if I keep giving the wrong information out. The first show that you can see us is on June 5th. Why isn't that on my calendar yet? Is it not? Oh, it is on there. Okay, yes. June 5th, if you're in that Pomona area. You can also catch us at the Lemon Festival. This is in Pomona. I know Jim Martinez is going. He told me he is. He's right. Oh, he's not far from there. That is going to be at 6:30 p.m. on June 5th. The Project at the Lemon Festival. And a week from today is our last rehearsal, possibly before that. So we got Lemon Festival on the 5th. These are the local gigs. And then, of course, on July 31st at the Tiki in Costa Mesa. And wow. We just got StreamYard paid for 2 months right there, guys. That's incredible. Awesome, brother. Thank you. Okay. I know I'm a little late on the comments here. Spicoli, 80s new wave is really good shit. It is. Of course it is. Production on all that stuff was amazing. And most of that music, whether it's Depeche Mode or, you know, any of those bands, it totally stands up today. All the music that they produced. One band that I loved was In Excess. I think what a loss, man, when David Hutchins died, man. That was just a huge loss. But what an incredible band that was. And I love watching any documentaries on them or, you know, just the live concerts that they put on. Okay. Johnny Ponder, how often do you exercise? I'm trying to get back into it. I'm 56. I'm working with dumbbells and riding my bike right now. Well, when I first made the move to not be fat Erik anymore, I was going pretty hard on the elliptical machine. We have a pretty cool gym that's a pretty cool gym in our building, our other building. And on that machine, I would go for an hour. And it's pretty much all I'm doing for the most part still is that. It's where, you know, you're pumping with the legs and then you got this thing going on. And it really did help me lose the weight part. You know what I mean? I had gotten back up to about 200 pounds. And for me, I'm like barely 5'10". That's too much. And that's why I was looking all just a little chunkoed. So I lost 30 pounds. So I got down to, you know, currently about, you know, 170. Yeah, I could probably lose another 5 pounds. I got a little slight little pooch. I need to work on my stomach a little bit. But other than that, that's all the cardio I kind of need. I'm not looking to like I already kind of naturally have some guns. You know, like I don't want to be like Alice Cooper's guitar player back in the day. You know, like look like Rambo or whatever. I don't want to look too big. I just want to look trim as possible. So I was just kind of doing that thing. I'm trying to like get my chest not looking so flabby. So I started doing push-ups. Now here's kind of an interesting thing on the push-ups that I never really thought about. But I was listening to some guy. This came up on my Instagram, like a TikTok kind of thing. And this dude that got out of prison was telling this story about push-ups that I thought was kind of interesting. I'm going to try to paraphrase his thing and maybe you'll get it. But he said when he got in there, he was trying to like show off and he was like, he saw guys doing push-ups that weren't really like going up all the way. They were just kind of going up a little bit. And they, what was I going to say? So he came in the pen, right? And he was like trying to show off almost like, oh, wait until they see me. And he was doing how we were kind of taught in school, like where you down and go all the way down, but then go all the way up, and you're kind of locking your arms for a minute. And in a way, like that's almost like a kind of break you're giving yourself, right? Like I know when I was initially trying to do push-ups or whatever, I would do that. Like I would do, 20 or 30, and then you start to like get a little tired, and you stop up here because it kind of like you can kind of take a break for a second when you totally extend your arms, and then you keep going. These guys don't do that. In prison, they go, of course, face down on the ground, but then they just kind of lift a little bit, and they get way. He was saying in the video, he's like, I couldn't believe the gains they were getting out of just doing that. Like they wouldn't do like 100 push-ups. They would only drop and do just like 20. But they're only going up about, I don't know exactly how much, but like 8 inches or so. And it's like you kind of keep all that right here the whole time. Like if you're just dropping and doing 20, you're keeping it all right here. And I could already see it like starting to happen. Like it's true. So it's like I checked it out for myself, and you asked me for a little advice. You're trying to get back in shape. When you're doing your push-ups, just do it to where you're feeling the stress at all times and never go up like further than that. And that's totally working for me right now, because I do got to get this. I want to get this downsized right here. I want this looking like, I want to see those like rib things right here. Just anyway. So you also asked me like how often I'm working out. I have kind of slowed down to like now I'm going across to the gym probably 3 nights minimum a week, trying to go for 4. I don't know if I could do 5 or 7 days a week anymore. That was good to lose the initial weight. Now what I'm trying to do is like maybe going 3 or 4 days, and then on the off days, don't pig out. You know what I mean? Like, cause I notice when I'm working out, I like, burned all these calories. That going on an elliptical burn like 700 calories. And then I'm coming in and eating all this food, cause I'm hungry. If I'm doing a day where I'm not doing that, I want to make sure I just eat really mellow if I'm not going to be, working out. So, oh, Jim, what's up, buddy? Like, Jim's got a super chat in here. I gotta read right here. Play the round and round from to Larry. Yeah, you did send me that, and I didn't pull it though, Jim. I know you sent it to me, and it's still in my email, and I didn't get it. Also, the one thing about round and round is I always get hit with the copyright thing on round and round. There's certain songs that trigger the thing, and then all of a sudden I got to share all my money I make from like today's show with RATT. It's like I try to avoid that. That actually happened on this latest vlog. Like I put a lot of us playing on there, you know what I mean? There was probably like initially I had like 5 or 6 songs, and I just let it roll, and I was going to put like half the concert for you guys. And when you load up something onto YouTube, it'll tell you right away, you got a problem here, and it's with these songs. Their copyright detection service or whatever picks up that you're going to get hit on specific songs, and it hit me on Round and Round, of course, part of Back for More. Like first I go, oh damn it, and so I deleted the video and I got rid of Round and Round, and then I put it up, and it found like 2 more things it didn't find the first time. I was like, shit. One was part of Back for More, but it was weird. On Back for More, it only made me like clip out a small section of it, which was weird. And you can do that with your creator tools in YouTube. Like you can just chop it up. I mean, it might make a weird edit, but the truth is, most people that watch those videos, they're not watching for the whole half an hour. Like, it tells you how long they watch. It's like the average person watched it for 7 minutes. That's kind of sad. It's a 30-minute thing, but like on average, they only watch like 7 minutes of it. So I've decided not to get too hung up whether there's like a weird glitch in an edit or something. But for the most part, I put time into trying to make those things seem decent, the way I edit it and so forth. I think the most important thing I learned with making a YouTube video, and I'll pass this on for I know I have some of you guys have your own channels. If you're producing a video or something, that first like 8 seconds of the video is by far like just about the most critical thing next to the thumbnail that you pick for your picture. Like those are things I never really considered much. Like when I first started trying to mess around with YouTube like a year ago, I didn't put any words on my thumbnails. I would just kind of put a photo and that was it. Oh man, that's the wrong way to do it. I've learned so much since then. Like, you don't want to put more than you have to on the thumbnail, but most people are actually watching YouTube at home now on their television set, which is crazy to me. I always thought most people were watching it on their little phone screen, but no, they're watching it on there. They want to see the text of what it is. They don't want to look down at what the description says the title is. They don't want to look at whatever, that little chunk of black text that's on under the video. That's like too much for them. They want to see it on the video, because when you're watching YouTube on TV, you don't really see that other stuff. You mostly just see what the thumbnail is. So that's why you want to have clear text, not too much going on, but that says what it is, so the person watching can read what it is and then determine from the photo if it looks interesting enough to click on. Now, if you can get them to then click on the video, not just look at it, but actually click on it, because just looking at it and running the mouse over it is what would be considered to be called an impression. Like, so maybe, that video I put out the other day got 11,000 views, but that's 11,000 people that actually clicked on it. But it probably had like 100-something thousand people that ran their mouse over it, you know what I mean? And like kind of was trying to see what it was. So anyway, there comes into play that first 8 seconds. Psychologically speaking, they figured out that in that couple seconds, the people decide if they're going to watch your video or not. And the best advice that I read that I've been trying to employ into the videos is show them the best of everything you got right away. It's that simple. You know what I mean? I didn't have all that much crazy stuff to show, but I'll like Steven breakdancing, you know what I mean? Joel Hoekstra, worm, a clip of the band doing a cool move on stage, eating something, whatever, showing just really quick clips that are only like 2 seconds long that kind of show you everything you're about to see in the show. And psychologically, people, if they made it to that 8th second, they're in. They're probably going to watch the whole thing. But if you don't do that, you're probably losing out on a lot of views. So, and you can use that for whatever your niche is, whatever it is you do. If you haven't figured that out yet, or you're wondering why people aren't watching your videos, that's a big part of it. These are all things you learn the hard way, you know what I mean? And it's disappointing when you put in a bunch of work on a video and nobody clicks on it, or it only gets 5 views or no views. It's like, what the F, you know what I mean? But little by little, I've been like, on Reddit, I probably belong to 8 YouTube creator different groups. You know what I mean? I'm always looking at the things they say, and you pick up a lot of stuff like that. If you want to get better at something, you gotta research about it and make some changes to become, more effective, if you will. Okay, T-Cuz. Hadn't listened to much of Joel's stuff, but now I want to. Him being cool as F, dude. Yeah, it was. He is really, really cool, friendly guy, and it's what's awesome about him too is just how far. Professionally that the guitar has taken him, just like he was running, down to me like his life pretty much. Like he has his guitar students, of course, and he makes a good living probably just off of that alone. He probably does what I do, playing live all year, just teaching students out of his, online lessons, which you can get from him, by the way. If you hit him up and you want to learn how to be a wizard yourself on guitar, hit Joel up and schedule lessons with him. They're pretty affordable, and he's pretty much booked like all the time when he's off. He makes sure that he has his people, and he's constantly doing that. Then of course he's got the bands that he's playing in and touring in and everything, and then that Trans-Siberian Orchestra, oh my God, like I said, that's a career. That in itself, just the 2 months that they do that is like, you're getting like brain surgeon money for that. You know what I mean? It's like, it's incredible. You know what I mean? So you put all that together, and the dude's able to live in like New York, down in, Manhattan. And it's interesting. But what I love about this is just rubbing elbows with the best of the best. You know what I mean? Because I know I'm not the best, but you want to hang out with people better than you to get better. You don't want to be like, oh, I only want people that make me look good. I do want to have to be, stay on my toes and practice and and be forced to give 110% because I'm with these crazy good dudes. It's only going to be better for me to grow, but they're being very nice to me, and it's not like a fake way. They're being, you know, accepting me. And I feel like for these guys to be nice to me that play in the TSO, you know, Blas, Joel, that says a lot, you know what I mean? Because they would probably go, get rid of this guy. We know 10 people better than him. And they're like, no, they're down with me, man. And I'm like that. I'm very humbled by that and stoked on it. Li Ming, he was kicked out of his band for playing terrible. Man, you got to get some guitar lessons from Joel Hoekstra. Come on. Li Ming's not a fan of death metal either. I mean, maybe a little blast of it for a second, but I mean, I'm impressed by it. I know how gnarly you have to be of a guitarist to, you know, that, man, they're like crazy with the stuff they play and how they're it's like math rock or something, you know what I mean? Like that they're able to do that. I'm a feel guy, you know what I mean? I like melodies. I like to kind of sing on the guitar a little bit and get a feel, a vibe, you know, that sort of thing. I like to rock. I'm a kind of more classic rock vibe. I can't get into that kind of newer guitar work, but hey, man, that's their thing. I'm my thing, and just do whatever you do best. That's one thing going back to Tracy Guns that I was appreciated about him is like, you know, at that peak of the 80s when it was getting so blown out, Vinnie Vincent Invasion, you know, Tracy was like, nah, I'm going to stay rock. I'm staying Jimmy Page. And it was, I'm glad he did that. I'm glad he didn't try to, you know, be a noodle head and try to be Yngwie Malmsteen in LA Guns. That would have been lame. It's cool that they were, and same with Guns N' Roses with Slash. You know what I mean? Slash was like, nah, no. I'm not going to be Steve Vai. I'm going to do the Joe Perry thing. You know what I mean? And keep that alive. And, you know, it worked out for those guys, I'd say, wouldn't you? Skylar likes Pantera. Pantera's got some great songs. I was fortunate enough I got to meet Dimebag before he was killed and got to hang out. Him and Vinny were big RATT fans, so we would, if we were ever in Texas, those guys would totally show up to the gigs. So I had cool memories partying with those guys. Super chill dudes. And I got some pictures somewhere. It was talk about a crazy night when Dimebag and his posse of friends showed up and hung out on the stephenpearcy bus. That was a pretty legendary night. Tim Lloyd, I was on the stage with Erik and Dime. Yep, he was there. Tim was there that night. He can attest that I am not lying about it. Yep. Shaka Messiah, hell yeah. Heartbreak Boulevard, mess you up inside, take you for a ride. Love that album. T-Cuz is saying, Peter, Dance, Wolf got to have relations with Faye Dunaway back in the day. Lucky bastard. Interesting. That is interesting. Cool. Okay, so Josh is saying Pueblo, Colorado, in the Mesa area, has a haunted location where a guy took out his whole family, then himself. I went to the remains of the house that had been burned down. Crazy picture. I'll show you next time. Interesting stuff. Let me see. Skojo, you get help every now and then. When we're there, yeah. That's right. You get high with a little help from your friends, right? Tim's all, I don't help, I just get high. Okay, well that's, yes you do, sir. Yes you do. Okay. We got Cat. Is it Cat? Is it Katja? I think it's Cat. What do you think the comparisons and difference of Joel and Logan? Well, the major difference would be about 40 years of age. No, Joel's, there's not that big. About 30 years of age difference. But no, Logan is going to definitely be a successful professional guitarist. He's already there. You know what I mean? He's blessed that he's figured it all out, and he's only 25 years old. You know what I mean? But the difference is, I mean, they just been. I mean, Joel's been playing for 30 years longer than Logan. You know what I mean? He's reached that Jedi master of guitar playing that Logan will get to, and he's there now. I mean, right now, Logan, obviously, I was like, hey, dude, you're playing the solos. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, he's fantastic now, and he has so much room to continue to get great. Plus, he's in Nashville, so he's like getting to play all these different gigs and styles of music, so he can be really, you know, well-rounded. But I mean, am I the same guitar player I was when I was 25? I'm way better now at 53 than I was at 25, so I can imagine for Logan it's going to be the same thing. So I mean, it's just experience, you know what I mean? It's not talent or capability, it's just experience, I would say, is the biggest difference. And you know, I don't know, just they're both great. Like, we're going to win either way. I don't like pitting people against each other or whatever. Obviously, Logan, another difference would be Logan's right at the beginning of his career. So people aren't aware of him like they're aware of Joel. You know what I mean? And as far as this particular second, when there's so much like gossip going on, and, you know, all this drama with the DeMartini thing coming to an end, and you get people trying to choose sides, and, you know, that's not RATT. I get that all the time. That's not RATT. Whatever, dude. Stephen Pearcy's RATT, and, you know, I had to say something. I have to be careful when I'm commenting, and you guys, like, in advance have to forgive me. You know, like, I'm pretty cool with people on other websites and gossips things or articles saying something bad about me, or pretty much whatever. I expect that kind of stuff. But when you're coming to my YouTube channel, that's my house. So if you're going to come to my house and spray paint some bullshit in the comment section, obviously I'm going to get rid of it. And really, it's just me, you know, I have to decide if I'm even going to respond to it, you know, or whatever. So you're probably not going to see a lot of bad stuff, because this is my house and I don't have to allow that here. You know, if you want to talk that shit, go somewhere else and do it. You know what I mean? This is, you know, we're just trying to all get along. You know what I mean? And keep rock music alive here. It's just, there's no place for your hatred, or, you know, and I've worked so hard and I've sacrificed so much to be where I am. I gotta put up with it, man. But I do get, you know, somebody who's like, well, you know, you're not RATT, and this, and I never said we were, but we could be. You know what I mean? Steven owns the name, so don't be surprised if all of a sudden we are. But bam, and, you know, if you're gonna call yourself something like that, you probably better have a lead guitarist that's no one's gonna argue with, is a freaking wizard. So obviously a name like Joel's at a, you know, precarious time like this, you want to have a big name, a solid guy that people are like, okay, all right, we'll go see that. Eventually Logan will pull in people just the same way, but they just don't know who he is yet. But they're gonna know who he is, and he is gonna play with us again. So he didn't learn all those Warren things for nothing. You know what I mean? He really put a lot into learning those songs. I did get some cool pictures were sent to me from Wade, who put on the show that Logan played at, and he's plays the part, man. He looks like a young Warren up there, and they're definitely, people were being accepting of Logan for sure. And I had on my Facebook posted a little clip of us doing the Round and Round solo together, and dude, it had like 50,000 views on it, so people were eating it up. So he's going in the right direction, and I know it kind of sucks that he played the one, and then for him, you know, and then Joel's coming in. For us, it's a win-win. Like, we got a great guy playing with us, whichever guy, but he's going to get a chance to come back. You know what I mean? It's going to be in November and December, and that's when Jimmy will be back on drums, Deanda, and Logan will be out. And it's just cool, man. The train's going to keep on chugging along. And then in January, Bloss will be back. we'll do it again next year. And that's just how it goes. But even the Trans-Siberian Orchestra has an entire orchestra on backup. Yeah. You remember Jordan Ziff that played in RATT briefly? He's part of that. Like he's a fucking amazing guitarist too, obviously. And he is another guy who probably makes a mint giving lessons and stuff like that. And he was tapped for TSO, and he has to be like ready to go at any given moment. He has to, if he gets a phone call that one of the guitars can't do the show, he is going to be whisked away and brought on stage. And he comes to the rehearsals and stuff like that. They give all those backup bands a chance to play with the pyrotechnics and, you know, see what it's like. And that was an aspect that Joel was telling me about a little bit, where he said that you have to be a team player in that situation, and you have to, like, it's like you have an understudy, like on Broadway, you know what I mean? You have an understudy and you got to show him where to be and kind of help him, because that's the guy who's going to take over for you if something happens, you know what I mean? And the show must go on kind of vibe with these guys. So that was it. I just think it's fascinating. But, you know, Stephen Pearcy band, we've and probably every other professional touring serious band out there has backups for the backups, you know what I mean? You have to know a drummer in case something goes down. You probably have 3 or 4 drummers that you could call that kind of know the gig and could show up and pull it off. You got to know another guitarist, you got to kind of know another bassist, and you know, sometimes you could pull a show off with one guitar. I had to do it when Chris Hager was playing with us for a minute, and then he had got COVID, and man, COVID took him out so hard. He was in the hospital for like 2 weeks in Utah where we were playing. Like, he didn't go home. He had to stay there. We went on to do our thing. And it was just like me on guitar, and then Johnny had come in, and here we are today. But interesting stuff. But I hope that answered your question. I try to answer it as, you know, diplomatically as possible and as respectfully as possible. RDT, if you ever come to South Texas, I'll teach for you free just to meet you. I'm a gigging guitarist. Awesome. Yeah, if you probably just show me a couple cool licks. Absolutely. Let's see. User Brian, get the EVH wah pedal. It's a super cool one. Yeah, I think I'm ready to move on from like the old school Hendrix Dunlop wah. I'm ready for something a little different. Yes, okay, so it is pronounced Tulare. So not only did I screw up the thumbnail, which I did fix, I also say it wrong in the beginning. So my apologies. I'll never mess that up. It's Tulare. Tulare. I got it. I'll never screw it up. Wasp over Motley. That's what Champ 1000's got to say about it. Well, yeah, I mean, for overall catalog, I would have to go with Wasp. But some of the Motley hits are just so huge and cool that it's like, shit, you know, Dr. Feelgood, or if there's some of the stuff off Shout at the Devil. Let's see. Late to the party, but let's get some butt bongos. Well, dear, I could give you some butt bongos. I'll play Hot for Teacher on your ass. There you go. Got your butt bongos every Friday and Tuesday. Count Cracula also has butt bongos on tap for anyone who wants their butt bongoed. We're professionals here. T Cuzbra, the OG Paul Black version of LA Guns. Yeah, you know, I kind of vaguely kind of remember hearing that for a minute, like 25 years ago. I have to revisit that. But it's, I mean, it's kind of the same thing with Iron Maiden. Like, you know, I spent most of my time listening to Bruce Dickinson, so I kind of considered him, but like the original Maiden guy's super dope too. And I kind of like later realized that, Paul Di'Anno, you know, like that Maiden's pretty awesome too. It's just different, you know what I mean? But, I'd check out the Paul Black LA guys. I'm sure he did some cool songs with them. Do you have a song that you recommend? I hear that he did a good job on. I'll check it out. Let me see. Yeah, I'm not gonna read this one, but I'll put it there. And yeah, I feel you, dude. Yeah. Champ, when's Pearcy come to the Dallas area? We did play Dallas. What? Tim, how long ago was that? But we love Texas, man. RATT is like Texas loves RATT. And back in the 80s, RATT used to play, spend like 2 weeks touring Texas. That's why they didn't play like out of the country that much. They were like, you know, could play for weeks in like the same state, you know, but Texas is huge enough they could keep just hanging out there for a month. Yeah, so yeah, you know, I think D-Champ's asking if Scott's coming to the Pump 5 shows. I think he's gonna go if I'm gonna be there, you know. Johnny Ponder, they love Steven in Japan. Yeah, it's have you guys seen some of that Japanese talk show stuff with RATT back in the day? It's super funny and cool. Like, it's just like a crazy zoo. Japanese people are fucking funny, and they had all these puppets and stuff going, and you know, Robin and Steven are guests on there, and I think Bobby, I think all the guys were there, but everything's like in Japanese, and then they had a translator talk to the band, and it was just crazy times, man. And but that was a very special time for RATT and for Steven. Steven and Robin loved being in Japan. They loved all of that, and they treated. I hear the stories, you know what I mean. But Steven would tell me that Robin Crosby, that they just looked at him like a god, you know, because he was like almost 7 feet tall or whatever, you know what I mean. They were just like, what? This big blonde guy, you know what I mean. It was. So Robin was definitely looked up to. Yeah. Josh is saying he would smoke if he could, but it sends him into a psychogenic seizure. Ugh. Nonetheless, I get super hilarious. Yeah, that's funny. You know what's funny? Like, I guess I got some funny side stories I could talk about, but you know, Susan and I, we get into it sometimes. My roommate Susan, and I was like, man, Susan's cray cray. Like, she's got to have like some personality disorder, bipolar or something. You know what I mean? Like, and I go, I'm gonna like go on WebMD or you know whatever. I'm gonna go online and try to figure out what she has exactly. I was gonna like diagnose it, and so I looked it up, and lo and behold, all the personality disorders there are, guess who has them all? Me. I'm the fucking lunatic. I didn't realize it. I have everything that I saw in there. I'm a whatever schizoid fucking something. Like, I'm all those things. And I was like, oh shit, never mind. And I like put the phone away. I'm like, oh, shit. I'm lucky she put up with me for this long. Anyways, and what was the other story I have? Somebody barfed off our balcony last night, and it was a whole thing. Susan really lost her shit on that. Like, I know what you're thinking. Like, I'm at the beach, and it was probably like a beach people partying at the beach. It wasn't that. It was like somebody. Okay, first of all, upstairs is a rental thing upstairs, and it was we get vacationers all the time. Susan loses her mind because they're like usually bigger people with a bunch of kids, and they're just running. You could hear the running around and the jumping, and she truly just is in a disturbed state all the time just from that. She has bionic hearing, and like for me, I'm like, oh cool, well if they're gonna be loud, I'll be loud. I just turn it up, and I'm happy. The beach, I have tinnitus, so it's like I love the ocean and just the noise of it all here. And in the summertime, it's loud as fuck. You got low riders booming shit, screeching tires, fireworks going off. It's the beach, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's loud, but I dig it, you know what I mean? Her, not so much, but she was already complaining, and I heard her banging on the walls. That's her latest thing, is to bang on the wall. She's turned into a full Karen and just freaks out on the noise upstairs. But all of a sudden I goes, what the fuck are you doing? And I looked at somebody was barfing off the balcony, and they apologized, like, I'm so sorry, I'm just sick. I'm just really sick. And that's when you're just like, ew. Then it turns into like, it went from like a partying throw up to like that zombie movie 28 Days Later or something. Like, you don't want them like barfing up some kind of freaking pandemic down to the lower levels. So that they were supposed to come and clean that too. Like, this person just barfed off the balcony, like onto the roof that you see my cat walking on and stuff. It was pretty, Pump 5 is playing the Lemon Fest. Yes, they are. The Project is playing on Friday, which I'm going to play with the Project. And then Pump 5 is going to play with Alex Kane on guitar on, I believe, Sunday. Is Pump 5 is going to play there. So if you're in the area, check out both bands. They're both going to do cool stuff. Johnny Punter, have you ever played any arcade songs with Steven? Yeah, we certainly have played arcade songs. In fact, one of the songs was one of my favorite off of A2 is a song called Get Off My Back, which is like, it's kind of like a Stone Temple Pilots, I said I want to get next to you. It's like kind of similar kind of drop D kind of riff. It's a song called Get Off My Back. You got to check it out. But we used to play that. I used to love playing that song live. And I just put up a picture on my Facebook of Count Cracula when he had that was the Easter fright bite where there was that crazy rabid rabbit with the bloody teeth. I actually filmed that. That was a mannequin. I had a mannequin that I put the rabbit mask on. I had it on my back, and I thought it'd be funny to put the song "Get Off My Back" because the rabbit was eating me in my back. Anyways, we used to play that one. We used to do the I forgot what that one's called. We played that. We used to play Screamin' SOS. I think we've done Mother Blues before, at least acoustically. So yeah, I mean, the thing with the arcade, that I wrote the lyrics to the first song, the first arcade album. Needles and pins haven't been so good to me. Down, ba 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 ba, like poor white trash. Oh no, he says poor cheap trash, but originally my lyrics were poor white trash. But it was poor cheap trash with the need for social disease. Those were lyrics from my band Voodoo that he kind of swiped those. But so I had a hand in writing the first lyrics of the first arcade single when I was just a wee lad, like a teenager. But that's just an interesting little side thing. But at the time that Steven recorded that, like right after RATT, he was really going for it on the vocals, like trying to sing like in higher register, and it was all in standard tuning. And I mean, some of those songs are kind of a bitch to sing, I have to say. But I would like to play Get Off My Back just for fun, even though people wouldn't know it. It's just so heavy and cool. Okay, Jacob Moore is asking me, Eric, do you remember doing the album Fueler? I always thought that was one of the underrated albums with some really cool songs. Sadly, it's not on streaming. Fueler was happening, like, I was coming into the band just around that time, the solo band. And on the American version, I didn't really have anything to do with it. But he did put a couple of like kind of throwaway songs that we had done in the studio. Like, I guess for the European version, they needed like a couple more songs. So he had me come up and we quickly like threw together a couple songs that are on there. I want to say Young and the Damned was that one. And these songs, it's kind of funny. Like I literally like went up, he called me, can you get up here? And like I went up to the studio and he had like some drum beats from some other session. And he was like, he would pull up the beats, like, can you write something over this really quick for us? And I was like, what? I was like, okay, not the optimal, not my favorite way to write a song, being stuck with whatever drum things there, but like I did it. I can do that, obviously. So that's how Young and the Damned, that song and a couple of the other ones on Fueler, that's how that got made. Me just coming up and making that up on the spot and him making up the words right there that day. So we like just literally like wrote that song that day. You can kind of tell it's not the greatest, but anyways, that's a memory I have of it. I do remember having a bunch of copies of it for some reason Like, it wasn't a popular record. He was stuck with a bunch of them or something. But then he sold them for a long time on the road. I don't know. It was okay. Yeah, it was different. I think if I recall, it might have had Mark Zavon playing guitar on a lot of it too, and he was like getting into the down-tuned stuff as well. So it was different. Some of the songs on the new Pearcy record are a little modern. You know, it's like it's got certainly some old school RATT sounding stuff, but I like to hear Steven do something from this century too. You know what I mean? And he actually listens to the satellite radio. I forgot, what's the one channel? I'm forgetting what he said. Not high voltage, something. It's something like that plays a lot of the new metal kind of stuff. Like, he listens to that and likes it, and he gets ideas. I mean, it still sounds like Steven, but I'm just proud of him. I love, specifically on my songs, but you guys haven't heard those yet. The only songs you've heard off the new Pearcy record are a couple of the ones that he wrote, which I am playing guitar with him. Like, but he was playing guitar. I went up and kind of made it sound a little better on guitar. But he wrote the riffs and the songs of those first couple ones you heard. Those are total Steven songs and him, you know. But the other 8 songs on the record I wrote, and you haven't heard those yet. They're super dope. And I'm just proud of Steven. Like, he's doing so cool. And Matt. Like, I almost left Matt out. But between Matt and Steven, they're like doing great stuff on the vocals for it. Like, my work was already done years ago. Like, some of these songs I wrote 8 years ago or 7 years ago. And finally, they're ending up on a record. But yeah, interesting stuff. Death metal and Erik Ferentinos rock. Hey, Chris Aiken, there's my pal. One of these days, we got to get Chris Aiken back on a show, folks. It's been a minute. He had to get a real human job recently, and he's still doing podcasting. And you know, I don't know if you guys had caught wind, but Seth, who Chris does a show with, you know, sadly has been in the hospital. He only had one leg, and he just had another leg amputated. Seth Williams. So definitely, if you can give Seth some well wishes, he's a really good person, dude, and father and husband, and this is a very, you know, difficult time for Seth. So if you know Seth, if you can, you know, I think he has a GoFundMe going, and also just to give him support and tell him you're thinking about him even is, of course, helpful. Right on. Yeah, Steve Monday, do you get along with any of the others that were in RATT? Yeah, I never had any problems with any of the other guys in RATT. Robin I've met briefly when I was really young, and it was just kind of like, hey, good to meet you. It wasn't really. And Warren was kind of that way too. I have got to play with Warren on stage. I did get out, did one of the tryouts for RATT, like the same day Carlos Cavazzo got the gig originally. Like, I went up that same day and jammed with the band for a couple of hours, and it was interesting, you know, but it was always going to be Carlos. Those two are like totally bros. Like, they were just obliging Steven by having me come up and play, but they were totally nice to me and polite. I've always got along with Blotzer. He's a jokey, funny personality, you know, guy. He's always been cool to me. Juan has always been cool to me. Never had an issue with any of the original RATT guys, but you know, Steven's relationship is his relation. It's a different relationship than what I have. I had always hoped those guys would just kind of think of me as just the kid across the street, you know, from Steven, San Diego, harmless, you know, not a threat to you, you know, whatever. But I don't know. I was always, you know, intimidated of the RATT guys playing for Steven, because they were the RATT guys. They were the multi-platinum guys from our youth, you know what I mean? And it was, it's a lot of pressure, you know what I mean? It's a lot of pressure to play as good as them and to do all that. But it's like, I survived it, and now I am that good, you know what I mean? And I mean, I just have to accept it at this point. And finally, after playing guitar for, 38 years, you know what I mean? Warren could play like that when he was only like a freaking 19 years old, you know what I mean? I could not play like that, but now I can play a lot of that stuff, and it's cool, man. So like, I'll take it, you know what I mean? I will take the job, and I will go out and kick ass doing it, and that's it. Okay. via extraterrestrial. Hi, Eric. Are you going to see the new movie Michael Jackson? I mean, not go and see it, but I could potentially watch it at home. Not against looking at that. Let me see here. Rico. Hey now, from Arizona. Really enjoy your tour vlogs. Well, you're going to get more of them. There's more tour vlogs coming your way. Willie Wayne saying my backup singing's very good. Well, thank you. Yeah, you know, the last guys in the lineup were pulling me out of the mix completely on guitar and vocals, and that's why it probably sounded not as good. So it's good to be back in there. I do enjoy. I like being a backup singer. I mean, believe me, I would give up guitar to be a lead singer in a second. Being the lead singer of a band is by far the coolest thing ever. You know what I mean? Guitar is second coolest. But you know, I just don't have the stamina voice wise to lead a band and I'm not like a singer. But for backups, I could totally pull. And I love playing guitar and singing backup vocals. Let me see. Johnny Ponder. Pearcy is rap, but if Joel is the best thing to warn. Yeah. No, I mean, it's pretty amazing. This is, I mean, like I said, this isn't going to be forever, guys. But, you know, right now, when you see us here, just to watch, it's Joel something to behold. And it's going to be an awesome show. It's exciting. And I would say we have pretty much 99.99% support on the whole thing. Willie Wayne, I saw rap back in the day. Steven still sings very good. The song sounded great May 9th. Awesome. Yeah. And, you know, as we kind of get out and start playing a little more, it's going to come together. You know what I mean? This year has been pretty slow all around. You know, we changed agencies and just, you know, it's changing from the DeMartini thing to going to the Steven thing and maybe even the RATT thing soon. You know what I mean? Steven and Juan currently own the name. That's the latest. And they're working it out or whatever so that Steven can go and use it for the next couple of years. So that'll be pretty dope because that'll mean bigger gigs. Willie's had COVID twice. Pretty damn sick. Damn it. Damn COVID. Yeah. Tell us Finney met Logan and Reb. They were super cool guys, down to earth. Yeah. Yeah, Reb Beach is pretty cool. There was a funny, those guys were telling me a funny Reb Beach story because he was tapped as one of the backup guys for the TSO, for Trans-Siberian Orchestra. So he was getting like a paycheck for just sitting at home and being ready to go. Like, you know, same for Jordan. Like he's getting paid right now just to be ready. You know what I mean? But it's a serious thing. It's like you give you a good amount of money to be practiced up and go. Well, lo and behold, there was one of the guitarists. This was some years ago. This has become what they call like TSO legend. But one guitar player got stuck in a snowstorm and probably wasn't going to be able to make it. So to play it safe, they were like, okay, call Reb and get him. And Reb had like taken the money but didn't like learn anything, or he had learned it some past year before but didn't. He had to put it went out of his brain. And then I guess they called him and he was like, what? I don't know that stuff. And they were like, what? We've been paying you. And so that, because of Reb, is why the reason why they stopped having like super famous people be a part of it was because of his fault. Like, so now they get like people who are more hungrier, you know what I mean? That are really want to, you know, get to that higher level and become a named guy and are going to be 100%. 200% more like it, as opposed to a guy that's like, oh well, I'm really the winger guy, but man, over here do this, you know, that kind of changes. But that's funny that Reb did that. Reb's a phenomenal, you know, player. We love Reb Beach, and but I just thought that was kind of a funny story that I just heard from them. Let's see, there was something about them bongos and guitar players. Yeah. Erik could play lead pretty damn good. Yeah, you know, I play all the solos on. Well, I wrote all the songs on Smash and View to a Thrill, so I play all the solos, and I'm actually play all the guitars on it. So you know, I'm good. I mean, I'm just getting past this 4-year smear campaign that was put out on me that was saying otherwise. That was just total horse shit. Of course, I'm good. Let's see. The best part of Motley Crue for me were the nasty habits. Yeah, I thought that was cool, man, when they had those chicks up there singing with them. That was didn't Mick Mars like married one of them or was dating one of them, wasn't he, for a while? I heard she was a was kind of a nightmare for him. That's cool. Your lyrics got swiped. Yeah, it's cool for I'm okay with Steven swiping my lyrics. Oh, I know I was going to tell this isn't music related, but I thought I'd tell you guys a funny, not funny, but a story, chaotic story that happened to me this week. Speaking of swiped, I had ordered some stuff from Levi's, of course, Levi's jeans, and they had given me some kind of like coupon, and they had a sale going on. I was like, oh, okay. And I was just kind of feeling like I want to get some camo cargos, yo. And so I worked it out like that. I got this pretty good deal. I got like 2 different kinds of camo cargos, and it came out to probably like $75. That's a price I'd be willing to pay for 2 pairs of some Levi's shit. And I've ordered from Levi's plenty of times in my day, and they've been sending me stuff to my beach place here for a couple of years now. So I had no reason to think there'd be a problem, with this order. But Levi's, just like Walmart and some of these other big box stores, they use a delivery service called OnTrack. Okay, how many of you have had the pleasure of dealing with OnTrack? Like, so these, like, to be an OnTrack delivery driver, like, you just have to have a car and show up, and they'll trust you with these. So there's constantly people being fired for doing a shit job on OnTrack. You know what I mean? They have a pretty high overturn of drivers, and I've had goofy stuff happen. Specifically, because I live in a gated, patrolled complex. Sometimes they have trouble getting in, so they'll like just toss it over the fence or something, or they'll like, I've had it left at the office of the main office in the wrong building. Just weird stuff like that. With Guitar Center, once there was a picture taken, and it was obviously like a fake picture where it said they left my package in the mail room, and it was like an AI. Like if you asked AI to make you a little mail room, and AI would like do something goofy, like show a whole shit ton of packages sitting on the floor, like a 500 packages in your apartment mailroom. So like that would never happen, right? They put the packages in the fucking slots, right? So like when I saw that, I was like, oh, the driver's trying to pull a fast one, and sometimes what they'll do is if they open it up and see that it was a low value thing, they'll actually deliver it at a later point. And that's happened to me. So I already kind of caught a whiff of what these drivers are capable of. So anyways, I got an email saying, oh, hey, from Levi's saying, hey, your order's here. Good news. And I was like, oh, great. And so I walk to the front door. I open the front door, and nothing's sitting there. And I go, Mah. So obviously, you want to look at the tracking thing, and they have to show you the little picture, right? That shows the proof that they dropped it off, which they could take that picture, just take the thing and leave, right? That's another scam they could do. But anyways, I look at the picture, and it is not my house. It's like, I'm like, what is this? It's like the wrong house. There's like a number 4 that you see on the door, which my address has no 4 in it whatsoever. Not the apartment number, not the address. Like none of it has a 4. So I'm like, what the F is this? Obviously the driver stole it. Fine. Well, I'm trying to make a report to OnTrack and tell them, they're like, well, looks like it was delivered to us. Here's the photo. And I'm like, what? And anyways, I'm arguing with them. Apparently you have to wait like 3 days before you can contact the shipper, which would be Levi's, and tell them you have a problem. So now I'm just like, with my anxiety and shit, I'm like feeling like I've been robbed. I'm feeling wronged. And now I'm like pissed about it because, the OnTrack driver's obviously a local guy here. You know what I mean? I know where their office is, like in Carlsbad, or their distribution center or whatever. And so I know this is a local North County guy, and I'm like just assuming that this dude stole my shit. You know what I mean? And me, I have that. Remember I told you I have all those personality disorders, one of which is I'll fucking come after you if you fucking do anything to me. That's like one of my problems. And anyways, so I'm certain that this guy robbed me. You know what I mean? And I'm like, it's got to be the OnTrack driver. Look what he's doing. This isn't my address. So anyways, Levi's is, because they're so huge, you just like write to them and go, I didn't get my shit. Okay, we'll resend it out to you. And so I said, yes, send me the stuff. So they resend it out, and I get another, like 4 days later, I get the email, your stuff's here. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I open the door and it's not there again. And not only that, but they told me that, oh, because I ordered 2 pairs, they said the 1 pair is out of production. So now we're going to have to give you a refund on one of the pairs, but we'll resend you the other ones. Now I'm pissed. Now I'm going, now I'm never going to be able to have that pair. Now I'm really mad at this guy. I'm like, now you stole something that I can't replace. And now I'm very taking this very personally. So anyways, my thing's not there on the second attempt for Levi setting this out. And so I open the door. It's not there. I go back to look at the picture. Lo and behold, it looks to me to be the exact same photo from 4 days before, which is the wrong place. And I just assume, wow, this is a very shady driver that's very lazy and is actually putting the same fake picture twice and stealing my same package twice. Now I'm calling the police. Yes, I was so mad. I made a police report about it to the Oceanside Police Department. And then I was thinking about it, and I was stewing in this, and I was so mad. I go, you know what? Fuck that. I'm going down to On Track. And I went down there, and I was in my mind, I was just like, I'm going to knock this guy out for taking my shit. You know what I mean? I'll go straight to his job, and I'm going to go there at 8 in the morning when they probably have them show up to get their stuff so I could get there. And I just had it in my head that On Track are the shadiest people ever. Well, I get there. It's this big ass, distribution center. I ring the bell. This dude comes out. He couldn't have been nicer. This guy that worked there. He was totally cool. Oh, come on in. I come in, okay, and I'm just thinking to myself, be calm. That's almost more intimidating when you're calm, So I'm being calm, your driver appears to have stolen my things, and you could see this picture, and I'm showing all this stuff, and they're like, oh shit, and they're like, oh, hang on, we'll go check it out. So he goes in the back, and I'm waiting, and I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna get this guy, and he comes back, so figured it out. He's like, do you know this address? And it was an address on my street, but a mile down. And he was like, this is the address that your stuff was sent to. And it turns out, long story short, that Levi's, for some reason, they're in Ohio. I don't know. They must have some stoned people working in the warehouse. But for some reason, the guy changed my address at Levi's. Somehow for the shipping. Who's ever printed out. I don't know how they do their thing there. But it was I guess, an honest mistake or something. They just put an address that's not mine, totally not mine, but on the same street 1.5 miles down. And that's where it was sent. Okay. So I was like, wow, fascinating. So I decided okay, it's not On Track's fault. And here I have the police involved now. And this is not good. I've overreacted. Let me go to this place. So I walked to this place on Pacific, and it turns out to be a beach rental. It's like a little beach rental, 1-bedroom kind of beach rental right on the beach. And I'm knocking on the door, I'm ringing the bell. I see they have a plaque on the porch that says it's a rental, and it has if there's a noise complaint, if this and that, and they had a phone number, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna call this, right? So the next morning I call up the number, and it's an answering machine type situation. Push this for that, push that for this. And it was I could tell I wasn't going to get a live person on there. And the only thing I could do was hit this one button for an emergency. You could call this other phone number. So I just opted for that. I decide I'm going to call this number. Now, I'm assuming that this number went to the guy who actually owns the thing, one of the property owner, who's not the office that runs the rental, but the guy who probably owns it, because he just sounded like a rich dude. He just sounded like a dick. When he picked up the phone, hello? And I'm like, hi. And I'm trying to be nice. I'm like, hi, I'm a resident on, Pacific Street. And, my packages, I think, have been mistakenly sent to your home and to your rental property there. And right away, he said, hey, this isn't the number to call that. And he got all angry at me. He's like, how'd you get this number? And I'm like, well, it's the number they give. He's like, you need to call the office for that stuff. I'm driving right now, and I'm sure he was driving a Tesla going up the, whatever, with the silver spoon in his mouth. And me, I just want to like, kind of like, I was actually almost want to flip out on the guy because I'm like, it's an emergency to me. You know what I mean? You have my shit, I think. You know what I mean? But I ended up just like kind of hanging up on the guy, and I'm like, man. And then I'm thinking in my head, I want to burn this fucking guy's house down for that. You know what I mean? This motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like, or in the least, go kick the door in and go see if my shit's in there. You know what I mean? Like, I can get like real hood rat real quick. You know what I mean? That's what I was saying. I have all these personality like disorders, and I'll go schizoid or whatever that one disorder is. So, anyways, I have just overblown this whole thing in my head now. You know what I mean? So I go back to that house, but I go, okay, just calm. Like, I would say I'm 51% normal guy. And then, the other part is not a good guy you want to mess with. But, anyways, I decided the normal guy in me decided to leave a note. And so I write this note. Hello, I think my packages have been sent here, and call me. I also live on this street. Here's my phone number. And I stick the thing in the door. And now I go home and I'm like, damn it. Okay. So anyways, the next day I get a phone call at like 10 in the morning or something. She's like, hello, Erik. She's like, we're the cleaning crew over at the house, and we actually have your packages here. And I was like, what? And so they had the original package and the other one. Now, she did say that they had been opened. She's like, no, look, they've been opened. I think that whoever stayed here like opened them and looked in them. It's not our fault. And I was like, no, don't worry about it, because if anything, I was going to get a refund or whatever. But I was like, she actually has these over there. I mean, so I like went and I got the original 2. They were all there. All the shit was there. I now have like 3 pairs of cargos. You know what I mean? I think I'm only paying for like 1 of the pairs. So it worked out okay. But I was just kind of show like how one screw up at that Levi's factory almost got a bunch of people killed. Like just like the series of events that like unfolded, like from him making that little mistake, in my mind, having been ripped off all my life and wronged all my life and robbed all my life, I just assumed the worst. So what's the moral of this story? Just hold it together, because it might not be the on-track guy's fault. Okay, before you go shanking the on-track driver, like I felt bad. Like I definitely wrote to the police right away. I was like, you could conclude that investigation because it's not the guy's fault. I recovered my items, sir. Thank you. Sorry for bothering the OPD. And anyway, so it had a happy ending, but it was just like a stressful, shipping debacle I was dealing with. And just like, if your job is to work in a warehouse, and like, just make sure you're sending something to the right place, because people might get killed or their house burned down or stabbed or, come on, man. Do your job, right? God. Talisman. Erik equals psychosocial. That's right. Well, look who came to the party. Oh, the Charlie cat. I love this cat. I don't love how she sharpens her claws on my pedal bag, though. If you heard her just now, that's what she was doing. Johnny Ponder, did you ever meet Janie Lane? Oh, my God. Did I meet Janie Lane? I have a very crazy Janie Lane story. I don't know this has been a long show tonight. I don't know if I want to tell it tonight. But we did the VH1 what was it? VH1. It was an acoustic tour, basically. It was supposed to be for VH1. It was supposed to be like one bus, all these bands on one bus playing acoustic, and it was Firehouse. It was the whole Firehouse band. What, obviously CJ's still alive back then. It was Don Dokken. It was Kip Winger and Reb Beach. And then it was Janie Lane. And then there were Steven, me, and Frankie from Arcade doing the Steven stuff. And I'm trying to think if there's anybody else on there. But so we did this tour, and we were all on like the same tour bus. And like when it started, Janie was not in Warrant anymore at that point. He was having a lot of problems in his life with alcohol and drugs. But at this particular moment, he was like sober when he started. You know what I mean? So the first night of this thing was fine, and he was being very nice to me at first. In fact, he even let me like play his guitar. He's like, "Hey, would you like?" He sounded like the Pink Panther when he talked. He was like, "Hey, how would you like to play my guitar?" I was like, "Yeah, okay," because I had a shitty guitar for that. Man, I didn't even own an acoustic when we got that opportunity. This was like in the early 2000s, and I think I bought like some Epiphone acoustic guitar for like $100. It was a total hunk of shit. It's like that action was like way off. Anyways, but he had like a super nice Taylor or something. So I was like, yeah, I'll go play that. And anyways, as this tour progressed, Janie started partying, and then the cocaine and the drinking and he started being a menace to like everybody on the tour. He was it got dark, dude. I mean, there was a point where like he was messing with Kip Winger. He was messing with Don Dokken. Don Dokken. Both of those, Don and Kip, have suffered losses in their life. Okay. You know, Kip had lost, I believe, a wife, and I believe Don had lost a daughter, and Janie would like wake these guys up in the middle of the night and go, "Hey, Kip, did your wife know Jesus Christ? Because, you know, if she didn't, she's burning in hell right now." And then he'd go up to like Don Doc and be like, "Don, did your daughter know Jesus Christ? Because if she did, she's burning in hell, right?" And these guys were like, "Fuck this guy." Like they ended up like kicking him off like the bus like pretty quick. Like he had to travel in the back. There was like a roadie vehicle, like some kind of little RV or something that was like following the tour bus, and he was relegated to that. Like he was demoted down to that thing, and at this point now he's just full blown partying. I remember they brought like some Christian life coach counselor out for him, and that kind of got him back on track for like a day or two, and then that guy was doing cocaine and just going crazy. And the final thing that was the craziest thing that happened with me, which was like a huge mistake. We were supposed to go down to New York City to Sirius Radio, which is a gnarly satellite radio station. You know what I mean? It's like NASA, and it's in like Manhattan, and we were in like Connecticut or something. Like we had a pretty good drive, and we were going to have to get up really early to get to this thing, and we were all going to have to perform live, which was awful. If you've ever tried to perform live at 6 a.m. or something, it's not fun. But the night before, we were hanging out, and I was hanging out with Frankie, and we were like at a hotel restaurant bar or something, and Janie comes over. He's like, "Hey, you guys want a shot?" And he like handed, like, it was a big like thing of Jack Daniels or something, and I was still young then. This was like, I don't know, 2003 or 4, and I was Janie Lane, you know. He's like, "Hey, you want to come out? You want to go out?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure," you know. And I remember I pounded that thing, and you know, Frankie was like, he knew better, like he knew better. But next thing I know, I'm out with Janie and like I think it was one of the techs or something like that, and we end up going to some strip bar. And I don't know if it was the drink that Janie handed me or a drink that at this bar that I got, but I'm 99.9% sure I got roofied. I'm pretty sure, because I could definitely back then hold my booze and drink a good amount. I hadn't drank enough to have everything spinning like it was. It was like something was up. I just remember like just flashes of that night. I remember there were some girls dancing, and I had pulled out, like I had a couple ones or whatever, and I remember throwing some ones, and then I remember when the girl finished dancing, she looked and saw that they were only $1 bills and got all pissed. She's like, "Fuck yeah!" And she just like threw the ones back at me, and then I remember the tech picking them up off the ground. He was taking the ones, and Janie was out of his mind. I remember we were in a cab. We were like leaving that strip bar, and what was it? We got kicked out of we were in a cab, right? We were in a cab, and the cab driver like let us out and like the really bad part of town, and I kind of panicked for a second. I was like, we can't be, we had cash on us, we had like, it was just a bad place to be like left off, and I kind of panicked, and I was gonna run over to like a cop and ask where we could go to get a cab ride or something, and I didn't realize Janie had like a bunch of cocaine, and so he was so mad that I went up and asked a cop for like advice or something like that. Now I realize now that I was just panicking and that was kind of stupid, whatever. But I wasn't out to like cause a problem. I remember the cop was like, "Whoa, dude, just get another cab over there." And he was just laughing at me. His New York cops are kind of hardcore. But I remember we got into another cab and Janie was so mad at me. He wanted to like kick my ass, and I was in the front seat of the cab and he was just yelling, and I remember the cab driver like shot some like, there's some emergency like partition thing that like shoots up in an emergency to protect the driver, and I remember he shot that thing up and I was like, ah, good, I'm glad you did that. He's like, get the fuck out, I was like, oh shit. Maybe that's how the first cab ride we got kicked out. But I just know that he was like, he hated my guts from like that night, and he was like, who is this guy? He was like, because I was pretty green and new, like that's how he wanted me, like Janie wanted me off the tour, but everybody else couldn't stand him, so they didn't want me off the tour. And in fact, I remember Janie on that particular day when we had to go to Sirius Radio, he refused to go if I was going, which was a pretty, I mean, you would think that they would have told me, hey, sorry, Erik, he's not going to go unless you go. But all Kip, Don, all those people were like, hell no, he'd stay there. At one point, they were all chanting for me to kick his ass, which I would have never done. If I'm going to fight somebody, it's not going to be someone famous or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, and he's actually, Janie was kind of a big, he was towered over me. I'm 5'10". Janie's like probably like 6'3" or 4 or something like that. He's a pretty big dude. But obviously I don't want to be known as somebody who got in an altercation with a famous person, But anyways, he didn't go to that thing that day. And we performed at that thing, all the bands played, and he didn't do it. So interesting thing. I have a poster somewhere. I think it's a Metal Edge. It was in Metal Edge magazine. There was like a centerfold poster that shows us all there. Maybe I'll find it and I'll show it to you guys next Friday so you can kind of see us. We're all younger then, and Janie, I don't think Janie, he's not in that picture. He's actually not in that photo because he didn't show up that day, but the whole Firehouse band is, and obviously CJ's not with us anymore, sadly, and I don't know. You have to enjoy those moments, man. These guys aren't going to be around forever. Talis Finney, you guys should play Never Going Home. That is a great song. Arcade had some great songs. I mean, they're not easy to sing, and not all the crowd knows them all. And I don't know. It seems like as we've been getting bigger guarantees, the promoters like insist that we do an all hit RATT set. It's like, it's a business thing, and it's just something like, if we're paying all this, you don't want to hear all RATT, you better not play. It's like, okay, whatever, dude. It is a business, you know what I mean? So they call it the music business. Matt is really, oh fuck, man. Matt is definitely, he's probably, I mean, I don't know. I mean, now that Joel's in the band, there's another guy who knows music theory very well, but before Joel, definitely Matt was like the only guy that knew what was actually what we were playing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know any of that shit. I learned to play by ear. I learned to play by guitar tablature. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just a field dude, and I eventually learned how to kind of rip, but I don't know exactly everything I'm doing, like with the formal name of it is. Some of it I do, but not like these guys, you know what I mean? The stuff that they talk about. And what's cool when we are working in the studio together and it's like, man, we should do a harmony here. Well, then Matt's the guy. He knows exactly where the third, the fourth, the fifth, would be, and different things to maybe try. When he and I work together, he'll grab a guitar and be like, well, what, maybe something here, we work really well in the studio, even though I'm not maybe at his level of, theory or what have you. I still am a creator, a strong creator. And, we somehow pull off some, like you're going to trip out on some of these songs on the Pearcy record. You're going to go, holy shit, you are. I'm saying this now, but I'm not blowing smoke. You're going to trip out. Okay, Juan is an insane talent with the playing the same. He is. No offense to him. I have no whatever Steven has going on throughout the years with any of those guys isn't. I like Juan's on my Facebook. I'm not. I've played on stage with Juan. I have no problems with any of those guys, and I hope they don't look at me that way. I'm just doing my job, man. If anything, I don't have freaking 5 platinum records on the wall. You know what I mean? I don't have checks coming in every. I have to keep working. You know what I mean? So be happy for me. Not all these guys have to do that. You know what I mean? These guys that have hit that level don't have to work. They just do. Cool. So Fred, Eric, you rock. Love you. I love you guys, man. Thank you. You guys have been good to me, and I appreciate it. Johnny Ponder's getting out of here. I know we got to wrap it up here. Peace out, bro. I got to go. See you next week. You got it. Ever work with Robin Crosby? I've met him, but and I've watched him play. If you go on YouTube and look at RATT at the Whiskey in 1990, it was either 1990, I think, or 91. I was at that show. I was 17 years old, and you could see all the original guys playing on the. I guess it was the Detonator tour. It was like a special KNAC event they did at the Whiskey. It was like a private event, and I somehow snuck into that and got to go. And that show is on YouTube. You can actually watch it yourself. If they open up with Shame, 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 it was pretty sick, dude. And so I've got to see Robin play live, I'm proud to say, and I keep Robin in my heart. I play his leads exactly like they go, out of respect to him, and I've been trying to get my tone to be like his now that I'm on his side of the stage, and I take it seriously. I know I look nothing like the guy, whatever, but Steven has always told me my whole career that I remind him, my personality reminds him of Robin, and that my playing specifically is very similar to his. And Steven always wanted me in the Robin slot. He always wanted me there. It's the truth. So I'm right where I'm supposed to be, guys. Okay, so St. Grimes, and I thought I was the only one who reacted to things like in this way. Yeah, I have a fucking imagination, and I just sometimes take things too far in my head, but I have a good heart at the end of the day, and I don't want to hurt anyone that doesn't have it coming to him, right? You know what I'm saying. Woo! What a night, guys. Yeah. That was a lot of fun. Give yourselves a big round of applause. This is what we do. This is our hangouts, man. It's like you guys come over to my house to smoke out and just talk about the old days, right? So if you're around on Fridays, we're here. Be a part of our team, our friends here. We like having you. And let's get more people to the Fright Bite, man. We have an amazing Fright Bite coming for you Tuesday, Dahlia Dark and me. It's going to be super sick. And that's it. Be cool and be kind to each other.